Hey everybody, it's Carl from Carl's Opinion. Welcome to our Friday late night call-in show. And we got a whole bunch of news to discuss. And I see Mr. Tony Patriot. Thank you for stopping by the show. Great honor, Mr. Patriot. Anyway, and of course, goes without saying, the great douchebag. Always a great honor for the great douchebag to be on. And thank you. And my guess is maybe Tony Patriot came over because Mr. Great Douchebag was probably saying, hey, check out Carl's site. Mr. Douchebag's brought quite a few people over to my channel. So I just want to say thank you very much again to the great douchebag, and always great call-ins from Mr. Douchebag. always great conversations. Definitely broad into topics, and offers his insight from basically just being on so many channels and also following the news, and of course from just goes on a lot of liberal sites, I assume, and trolls a whole lot of people. So he picks up a lot of stuff here and there, but always very informative, and very just information heavy, just as far as things I didn't previously know about, or things I hear about but I didn't really deep dive into. But yeah. So hey, Mr. Douchebag. So definitely for coming on board, and we got some interesting news. Got a few stories on the border. Actually, a couple out of the Washington Times, but also one out of the Wall Street Journal of all places. Wall Street Journal generally pushes for illegal immigration because Wall Street Journal, backs big corporations, and big corporations want lots of illegal aliens. Why? Because when you have a large labor supply, it decreases wages. If you have a certain amount of demand and then more labor than demand, then of course the employers can negotiate better with the employees, and the employees have a hard time asking for more wages when there's like 50 people out in the room gonna do the job for less than they could do. So big corporations always like as many potential employees out there as possible. They don't care that none of us can earn a livable wage, but as long as they make a lot of money, they're okay with it. So but yeah, so that's let's go and get to the first story here, and we're going to cut on over to this, and let's just make sure I'm in the right place. I am. Go figure. Okay, let's see. All right, boom. So, Trump vows closing border to punish Mexico for illegal immigration. Good for him. I mean, he did it once before. He closed it just for a few minutes, and then suddenly Mexico kind of like did a few things. But we got that deal done with Mexico right now. So you know what? If we have to close the border down, I mean, well, basically, what's going on is Customs and Border Patrol are already saying they're going to have to pull people off the checkpoints, the ports of entry, where they search cars for not just illegals but for drugs and contraband and guns and stuff like that, because they're being overwhelmed at the border. And there's an interesting story I'll get to. Obama's former Department of Homeland Security chief, even he said there is a real crisis at the border. So anytime when you hear the Democrats on the Hill saying, "Oh, this is a manufactured crisis, this is just made up," well, for Jay Johnson, obviously no big Trump fan, he was on Morning Joe this morning, I believe, and he was talking to Morning Joe, and I'll get to that story, but he says, no, there's a crisis at the border. This is not manufactured. This is real. This is really happening now. So anyway, let's see what Trump has to say. Trump vows closing border to punish Mexico for illegal immigration. And let's see. Here we go. By Stephen Dinan of the Washington Times. President Trump threatened Friday he will be closing the border. In fact, here, let me get the call-in number up here. There we go. Boom. And there we go. There's our call-in number, 775-273-8970. And if you want to appear on a video call, I use vMix Production. If you have a Mac or an Apple, you probably use like Ecamm for live streaming production, or OBS. I use vMix Video Production, and they have the ability to do a side-by-side, interview just like you see on Fox News, CNN, etc. And it's actually pretty good quality too. It's guys are out of Australia put it together. They'll be at the National Association of Broadcasters down here in Las Vegas, April 8th, the second week of April. And anyway, so it's a side-by-side setup. It's really cool. It's basically, you send me an email, put in the chat, you send me an email, and to that address, ca2jogger@gmail.com. I will then send you the link. You tap on said link. You enter your username, and then you hit join call, and I take care of the rest. And then you're on side by side. Kind of cool. But anyway, we've had one of our guests do that. She enjoyed it. I had a technical glitch after I did a live stream out in the field with all the equipment, and then when I got back to the house, I crossed two wires. I put one wire in the wrong place where the other wire should have been, and but I since fixed that problem once I realized what I did. It was kind of funny, but nonetheless, so here we are. And anyway, let's see what President Trump has to say. So anyway, President Trump threatened Friday he will be closing the border or large sections next week in response to what Homeland Security officials say is a complete breakdown of border security. Mr. Trump lashed out at Mexico, accusing the country of failing to stop the tens of thousands of Central Americans traversing its territory, and said the border cutoff he envisions will punish America's southern neighbor. If Mexico doesn't immediately stop all illegal immigration coming into the United States through our southern border, I will be closing the border or large sections of the border next week, he said on Twitter. He added, we lose so much money with them, especially when you add in the drug trafficking, etc., that the border closing would be a good thing. A senior Homeland Security official speaking later Friday said what Mr. Trump was talking about was moves already underway to pull officers from the ports of entry and deploy them to help the Border Patrol between the ports, meaning that you got to pull these guys out of the port of entry. Well, you can't just let people flow through the port of entry and guns and drugs and everything else. So he's like, hey, I got a crisis down here. My guys are being overwhelmed at the border. I got to pull people off the ports of entry. Well, guess what? Those ports of entry, I'm not going to let people just come right on through. I'm not going to let the drugs come on through, even worse than they have been already. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have to close them down. And tough shit. And trust me, even with that great deal we signed with Mexico, Mexico still makes way, way more money off of us than we make off of them. We still have a trade deficit with Mexico. And let me tell you, agriculture does not do well sitting in trucks in the hot sun. If they close that, those ports of entry down, and they stop those trucks from coming through with all that agriculture on there, the fruits and the vegetables and everything else that we buy a lot of, that stuff goes bad. Well, you're not going to be able to take it across the border and sell it to anybody. It's not going to happen. And they're going to lose a lot of money. Well, you know what? Hey, we're losing a lot of money having to deal with all this mess. Right now, I ran a story the other night. ICE is releasing 1,000 migrant family members per day that they've apprehended because they don't have the room for them. They can't keep them, and they can't house them. And it's a family, so they keep the family intact, and it takes up a lot of space. If you have a room, you put like 12 bunk beds. Well, if you have a family, a mother or father, a couple of kids, that's just one room for them. That's it. So 1,000 immigrant family members per day are being released into the United States. That's 356,000 per year. That's just the ones they catch, and that's just the family member units that they have to release into the United States. That's a lot. Our country can't handle that. And, since we have a social safety net which they're able to access, it's costing us a fortune. Like Milton Friedman said, you can have open borders, but you cannot have open borders and a social safety net. One, it attracts the wrong group of people, and two, it overwhelms the domestic spending part of the country, raises the deficit and hurts the economy. So he goes, now if you had no social safety net, and these people couldn't access the social safety net, because you could have open borders, because the market would dictate how many people came across. Basically, when you come across, you're just like people who came across, people who immigrated here in the 1800s and 1900s. When they got off the boat, they had to work or they did not eat. There were some churches and stuff, charitable organizations helping once they got here, but they had to work or they did not eat. And so the only people who came over here were people looking to work. There was no free lunch when they got here, and they knew it. And if anybody had any illusions that there was, well, they shook out over that quick when they went hungry that first night. So basically, by having a social safety net, you attract the wrong group of people, and also you give people a way out. Instead of pounding the pavement looking for a job, well, if you can somehow manage to get an EBT card or get welfare or get Section 8 housing, and then of course get Medicaid, for you and your children, free health care, better than any health care you had in the country you just came from. Well, then that's going to, attract the wrong group of people. It's going to overwhelm our system. And then what's going to happen is what's happening right now. Then plus we get a lot of Democrats saying, hey, come on over, overwhelm the system. They can't hold all of you. And they're leading them on, and you have all these immigrant rights groups doing the same thing. it turns into a freaking disaster, which is exactly what's going on right now. Right now. Yeah, Tony Patriot. If I'm not mistaken, Tony, you were at the White House for the, if I'm not mistaken, for the Young Black Conservatives. So, yeah, definitely call in, without a doubt. So, yeah, sure. Let's see. Yeah, call in. But yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think Tony, you were at the Young Black Conservatives meeting in October at the White House, and then also for the event in D.C. There. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember. I'm getting old. I can't remember that far back. So, but if I'm not mistaken, I think you were there at the White House. But you can let me know when you call in. That'll be totally cool. But let's see. So anyway, they go on to say regarding having to move people around and stuff. Oh yeah, and moving people around from the ports of entry, to cover the border areas where these people are just coming across. So anyway, that the official said will mean closing down. Let me bring this up. That the official said will mean closing down lanes of vehicle and pedestrian traffic through the border, which will slow commerce. But the official said they need the manpower elsewhere to babysit the surge of children and families rushing for the U.S. border. With these numbers, if we have to close ports to take care of all the numbers coming, we will do that, she said. The official said Mexico bears some responsibility for the number of Central Americans surging towards the U.S., since the new Mexican government last year began to issue humanitarian visas that have allowed tens of thousands of people to enter and make their way north. Yeah, they're humanitarian visas. The visa pretty much says don't stay here, but you can go to the United States. The humanitarian visas that they handed out in December and January, unfortunately, appear to have served themselves as a pull factor because they allow anyone who made it into Mexico to travel to the United States. The official said Mr. Trump has threatened to shut off the borders before. This is the first time Homeland Security has said it's taking steps to cut legal crossings. It's on the table, the Homeland Security official said. And let me get to this other story that also appeared in here. This one just kind of blew my mind, actually. Let's see, let me pull it up. Obama DHS secretary says border crisis is real. I cannot begin to imagine 4,000 apprehensions per day. Now remember, the mainstream media has been saying, oh, there is no crisis at the border. This is all in Trump's imagination. This is, what's the word, a manufactured crisis. This is a manufactured crisis. He just made this up. Oh, we got a phone call coming in. Hi, this is Carl. You're on with Carl's Opinion.
Hey, Carl. Tony Patriot.
Hey, how you doing, man? I saw you there, and I said, wait, what? So were you at the White House back in, what was that, October, with the Young Black Conservatives? Were you there with that? Yes or no? I can't remember.
No, I wasn't there. I am friends with Mike Magnificent. I think he might have been there.
Oh, okay,
I
yeah.
wasn't there. No.
Okay. All right, well, hey, man, thanks for calling in. So, hey, what's up?
Hey, man. Nothing much. I see you're talking about immigration. That's something I like to talk about often. Definitely heard some good news today. I was listening to a speech from Mike Pence. I don't know if you got a chance to see that.
No, I sure didn't, man. No, I got stuck in the courthouse. Literally, normally you don't get stuck in the courthouse till like 5. I was stuck in the courthouse till like 5 p.m. today on a Friday. So
okay.
Yeah, no, I didn't get to see it, unfortunately, man. Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, so I mean, he basically came out and said, we're going to get the wall started, with the $1 billion that we've I guess allocated so far, and he basically made a promise. He said, in time, we're working on the wall now, but in time, I promise that the Trump administration will fix all these broken immigration laws. And I was just like, oh, that's what I needed to hear, really.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, because until we fix those immigration laws, nothing else is really going to help.
Well, no.
Apprehending these people, it doesn't make a difference when you're still going to have to release them back into the population anyway.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, totally. I mean, like this story. I know. I'm sure you probably covered it too, where ICE came out and said they were releasing 1,000 migrant family members per day. And you see the story I just punched up here. There's Jay Johnson, former head of Homeland Security, and saying he goes on in the story to say, like, he would have a bad day if they apprehended more than 1,000 a day, and people kind of stayed out of his way because he'd be in a bad mood. And that's what he says here. I can't even begin to imagine 4,000 apprehensions per day. And he goes, and when
Right.
when he did this story with Morning Joe, I guess this morning, the day before, they had apprehended 4,000 people, like on Thursday. So,
Right. I mean, it's getting crazy. It's getting out of hand. Did you hear about the super caravan forming now?
douchebag was telling me
There's
about that.
one-
Actually, he was telling me about
Yeah.
there's another caravan that's forming. Where's this one forming at? I didn't hear about it.
I didn't hear where it's forming. I heard it briefly. I was actually working, so I was listening while I was driving. But I know they said there's a caravan of like 2,000 approaching the southern border now, or at the southern border now, and there's a big caravan forming from somewhere down south of Mexico. This one's like 20,000 people.
Oh
And I'm
wow.
just like, oh man. And if this caravan gets up here and gets through, that's just gonna set for more to keep coming.
No, well,
And
yeah. I
until
mean,
we get these,
yeah.
uh,
I mean, no, damn right. I mean, it's just, here's a problem. It's like all these people in our country are showing them how to get here and what to say when they get here. And they're sending lawyers down there and this stuff, and they're telling them what the right buzzwords to do. They were doing the same thing, over there when they were trying to get into Greece, over there from Syria. They were meeting with, they had all these groups over there meeting with these people from Syria and telling them to lie, telling them to, they had seen death and they saw their families die and their cousins die. And just having these people make shit up. And so they're going
right,
down there and they're telling these people the same thing. They're going down to Honduras, Guatemala, Mexico, and they're meeting with all these different groups of people and they're saying, okay, this is how you get in. Once you get in, you yell asylum, and then you got to tell the right story. And now it appears they probably don't have to even tell the right story because if they're releasing 1,000 per day, and I saw the story the other day where Lindsey Graham said 92% of them are not showing up for their deportation hearings. Well, they just got to lie just a little because they're being released. They never even have to go in front of a judge. I mean, it's getting out of hand, and the problem is success breeds success. If
absolutely,
yeah, so they know that hey, it worked, it keeps working, and we're going to keep doing it. These people coming over here have nothing to lose. What worst thing that happens to them is what
right,
they get sent back
absolutely,
home. You know.
absolutely, and I don't blame them. There's a lot of I do have a lot of anger towards them, but I don't blame them. Like if I put myself in their shoes, I would probably be trying to do the same thing.
Oh
But
yeah.
I do blame, like you said, these Democrats and lawyers and activists that are going down there, coaching them, helping them. There's really where my anger is mainly lying, and the people in Congress not willing to work with President Trump on getting these laws fixed. But either way, these laws need to be fixed. I mean, if not, I mean, we're going to lose our country.
Yeah, no, because you're right though too. Because like we can like you can build the wall, you can stop them. People are still going to find a way to get in. And then if you don't reform the immigration laws, where you say, okay, look, here's I agree with you. It's like if I was these people, I'd be doing the same thing. I'd be coming up here, jumping the fence, whatever it took to get here. Especially if I had kids, I'd want to be raised here. I get it. You can't. I ain't mad at them. Well, I'm mad at them. Here's where I'm mad at them. I'll tell you where I am mad at them. If you got a problem in your country, why don't you stay there and like petition your government and yell and scream at them? Because the problem is when they come over here and they don't get everything they want as fast as they want it, then they start going to the streets and holding up their Honduran flag, Guatemalan flag, Mexican flag, and yelling
All
and
right.
screaming at us. Instead of coming up here and walking down the street and protesting us, why don't you go to Tegucigalpa, San Salvador, Mexico City, and protest your government? I guarantee you, if 1 million people showed up in the streets of Mexico City and demanded the government do something to make it a more of a free market economy where they can't have the same kind of wealth that we have here, I guarantee you that government would take notice. But anybody who gets just a little bit pissed off in Mexico about the government, about the economy, well, they just split over here. There's nobody left there to
Right.
protest. Anybody
No,
left?
I mean
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
I mean, I see them as cowards that they don't want to fight their own fight. They don't want to fix their own problems. They just want to they want to come up here and benefit from all of our people that bled and died, for the rights that we have, and for the system that we set up, that we paid our whole lives into. They want to come up here and take advantage of that, it build your own. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. No, words, right.
Come take ours.
Yeah,
My mother's on a fixed income. She's 70, getting ready to hit 70 years old. My dad's 71 years old. They're on a fixed income, and they struggle to some extent. I mean, they got to worry about getting medical bills paid, and these people. And my dad and mother worked their whole lives, and then now these people just come up and just demand benefits. I think they should get no benefits at all, zero.
Oh no, and I agree. I agree with you on that. In other words, like I was mentioning earlier, where I said, Milton Friedman, great economist, University of Chicago, and he said, look, you can have open borders, but you can't have a social safety net at the same time. He goes, if you have open borders and no social safety net, then people know, just like the people who came over the 1800s and early 1900s, when they get off that boat at Ellis Island, they got to get a job and start working. You don't work, you don't eat. But because there was no welfare back then. So the only people. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, and you don't even have to go back that far. I mean, that applies to all American citizens, pretty much. I mean, yeah, we have welfare, but there's limits to that for most of us. Some people can take advantage of it, but I mean, for the most part, it's a limited time thing. They need to see that you're looking for a job. Because I had hit one time where while I was in between jobs, I moved from Baltimore to Florida, and my wife got a job, and I lost the first job that I had. I had a really good job, and I was like literally in a bad spot. And
sure,
it was the only time ever in my life where I did take advantage of, like, I got food stamps to help because I needed it. I mean, I had 2 kids. And
sure.
But my wife was paying the bills, but there was no extra money, So
right.
Like, but even just to get that, I had to constantly be showing them that I was searching for a job. Every week I had to show them job applications that I put in, and if somebody offered me a job, I had to take it. So I mean, it's not like I just get it, you just get it automatically. So my point was just like, it's the same way for American citizens, really. If you don't work, you don't eat. I mean.
Right, and then so if you had it where they can't access Medicaid or anything, then the only people that would come over, and they knew that before they got here. Then the only people would come over, people say, okay, I want to work, and that's it, period. But then when you have a social safety net, even if they come here with the intention maybe of getting a job, and maybe they don't get one so fast, they're like, well, I look for, there's nobody checking what they're looking for, So I looked for a day and a half. I got bored, and then I went on welfare. And so, they're looking for a free check. And, of course, the Democrats are saying, hey, Democrats are the party of we give free shit away. So it's like, hey, come over here, you get some free shit. And these people are coming over, And so, like you see the headline I got up there right now, Texas area zero tolerance shift. So before, Trump had said zero tolerance, anybody who comes across gets charged with a crime, you lock them up. Well, they had to change that policy because they don't have the room to lock them up anymore. They ran out of space. So you'll see in the story of prosecutors of a single migrant adults caught crossing the border for the first time were suspended in February. So in other words, prosecutions of these people was suspended in February amid lack of jail space. So I mean, that's how bad it's getting.
Right.
I mean,
so it goes back to these laws have to be changed. I mean, it should be instant deportation. I mean, simple as that.
Well, yeah, that's the way it used to be. But then you got all these liberal activist groups, saying, well, these are people too, and they're lovely people. I'm sure, maybe they are lovely people, maybe they're not. I don't know I don't know these people. It's like I always like to say, oh, they're lovely people. It's like, well, I mean, that's like saying I'm a lovely person if you don't know me. Really, I'm a real asshole. I mean, you don't know.
Right.
I mean, I could be a criminal. I could be a hoodlum. So we say, oh, they're all lovely people. Well, even if they are lovely people, like we have a lot of okay, here's another generality. We have a lot of lovely people in this country who need us to help take care of them. And like you said, like you're in a bad spot and you need a little bit of help, you need a little bit of assistance. It was there for you. But if these people come and gobble it all up, then maybe when you're in a bad spot and you need a little bit of help, or like you said, your folks are being on a fixed income and stuff. My mom's on a fixed income as well. She's over 80. So, I mean, the same thing is like, well, they gobble it all up and then we have to talk about reducing these benefits for everybody. For people who, like my mom, worked her whole life too, just like yours. They worked their whole lives, they pay into the system, and there should be something there for them. Not where we have to worry about cutting back on this or cutting back on that. For people who work their whole lives and earn the right, not deserve to have it, but earn the right to be able to get some kind of something in their elder years. So I hope something changes. Let's see. There was another story on this too that I saw. Let me bounce over here real quick. And there's two of me. Let's see. Where was it? There was another story in the Washington Times. I use the Washington Times and Wall Street Journal as my two sources. I'm subscribers to both of them, and they actually, Tony, they make it actually pretty easy to use them for like YouTube based on their digital footprint and everything. They make it really, really simple. Which
okay.
Yeah, it makes it kind of a win-win for. I mean, they get free advertising, obviously, and I read their stories. The other YouTubers too, and then we get to. It makes it very simple. You don't have to like mess around with it or anything. Let's see, Val's closing border. Let's see, take the Green New Deal. Where was it? Let's see. Maybe that was the other story I covered. Okay, it was in two different places, but okay, yeah, it was the same story, but
yeah, but.
Go ahead.
I mean, something definitely has to, it has to change. And I mean, it's just I haven't heard President Trump speaking about the immigration laws in a while. So just at least to hear Pence, and he said he guarantees it. So to hear that was very relieving. I don't know if it's something if they're waiting for 2020. I mean, I don't know, but they need to step up their game a bit because the longer we wait, the more people are getting in our country.
Well, I hate to say it, but they probably are going to have to wait for 2020, just based on the fact that the House, you're not going to get anything through the House. I mean, the only way you're going to get a deal through the House is if you give amnesty to X million number of people. And the number X, I don't know. Nobody knows what that number X is going to be. One, you can't say all illegals because everybody's been always saying it's 11 million, but now we find out it's actually like 22 million.
Oh yeah, I think it's way more. Absolutely.
Oh, I'm sure because that number 11. It's been 11 million for like 15 years. Like what? People stopped coming over the last 15 years or something. I mean, of course.
Right.
Not.
Exactly.
And of course they have babies. So I mean, they have a lot of babies, and so next it's even if you take the number 11, it's probably got to be like 3 times that. Probably like 33 million. Not even 20. It's more
Absolutely.
than 22. So you can't just grant amnesty across the board. It will be funny if you do that. Then people say, "Okay, come in and apply for it," and then suddenly you see like 50 million people show up. That would be scary, funny as hell. It's like, oh,
yeah,
there weren't 11, there were 50 million.
Right. Oops.
Yeah. So you have your own channel, don't you, Tony?
Yeah.
I've seen it.
I just started it up, and I'm trying, man.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I did.
Go ahead.
It's not that I think I'm like great with. As a matter of fact, I'm still just using my phone to do it, and I'm trying to upgrade now. But I just did my first live stream the other night. So I'm just. It's not that I'm a great speaker or that I feel like I'm great at it or anything. It's just I feel like I need to do something. I'm on people's page saying, we got to fight. Well, what am I doing? So I had to look at myself and say, what am I doing? So that's when I decided to make my own channel because, I really love my country, I'm not in the military, but my father was, and my wife was in the Army. So I'm just a patriot, through and through. I love my country and I have kids, and hope to have grandkids, and I want them to have a great country too, so that's my whole inspiration for, trying to start up a channel and at least trying to help, spread the message of the truth, things that need to be spread. And, like when our down here in Florida, when our election was going on, we had a close call there. We had Ron DeSantis, who ended up winning governor, but we had that socialist, Andrew Gillum. So I pushed really hard for Ron DeSantis. I used my channel to speak on that. I also went around the neighborhood and talked to neighbors and stuff, and explained to them what was going on in case they weren't really following. How important it is to make sure that Ron DeSantis gets voted in governor. Andrew Gillum wanted to turn Florida into a sanctuary state. He was complete socialist, abolished ICE. I mean, it could have really destroyed our state. I mean, Florida's a low tax state, you know.
Right, right. Well, actually,
So
maybe that's where I saw you. Did you actually appear on Mike's YouTube channel?
yes, I've
Okay,
appeared on
okay,
many.
okay. Right.
Yes,
Okay.
I've appeared. I've made a lot of appearances.
Okay. Okay.
I have
That's
appeared on Mike's channel. Yes.
okay. That's where I've seen you. Okay. Yeah. Because yeah, I'm a sub to Mike's channel. I catch him every once in a while. Yeah. Because as soon as you said Florida, I go, oh, that's where I've seen you. Okay. Yeah. Right. Because you said you were friends with Mike. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
you know, Mike does it well. I mean, as far as just starting out with a camera, well, like one guy I follow, his name is Dixon Hammer. I watch him in the morning. He comes on at 6 a.m. my time, which would be 9 a.m. your time, and he has 350,000 subs, and that's what he does. He has a phone and probably a mic hooked up to the phone, like maybe one of those mics that you know attaches to the top of like a phone gear, kind of like for doing mobile kind of stuff.
Right.
But that's it. That's all he has, and he has 350,000 subs, and he puts out
Right. Yeah, I know. I know
yeah,
who you're speaking of. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, so you don't have to get like high tech to put out good content. It sounds like you know the topics really well. You sound really well educated in the topics and everything and everything. So I mean, yeah, shit, man. If he does it, I mean, I was following him. I know I was definitely following him when he was under like 50,000 subs. I think he was like around 10 or 20, and he just started kind of building, and it's a slow process, and in building and building and building. But yeah, and then if you want to get into the other stuff, then what I did, I'm not a rich guy, so I just literally over the last 4 months, I treat myself. I'd buy like a webcam, and then I'd buy this, and then but I
Right.
mean I was doing it just like a little thing at a time. Where now I look down. I remember when I first started. I looked down at the equipment I have now. I go, shit, man. It's like, where did all this come from? Like, but there's no way in hell I could have
Right.
just bought all this. There's no way in hell I could have just gone out and bought all this at once. I mean, forget it. I mean, I'd be homeless. You'd see me on you'd see my YouTube site. Like, I'd be like plugging in like to somebody else's outlet and stuff, and jacking on their internet servers and shit. And the cops would be chasing me. I'd be doing a live stream, and you hear the sirens go off. Hey, what are you doing? Get away from there. But yeah, you just start slowly. Just kind of look to see what you need. I watch a lot of tutorials on stuff. Oh, hey, one thing you might want to check out if you do get into like a laptop setting. On I don't know if you have a PC or whatever, but if you get into a laptop, and you don't need a new laptop, you don't need a super expensive one, just one with good processor, decent processor, and some decent RAM. Used. I mean, in fact, the laptop I have a desktop and a laptop in front of me. And the laptop is in front of me is the one I started with, and it's an old used Toshiba. I got for a couple hundred. Okay, but it had
Okay.
it had right enough bells and whistles. Now, if you get into a laptop or desktop situation, there's an outfit. It's called vmix Victor Mary ix.com, and they do.
Okay.
It's like OBS, except it won't drive you crazy like OBS does. A lot of people, I'm not sure if Mike uses OBS, but a lot of people start with OBS because it's a free program. The problem though is a real pain in the ass
Okay.
to learn. Okay, I'm telling you, man. I mean, I was ready to
Right.
throw my laptop against the wall so many times you have no idea. But vMix is like really easy to learn, and they give a free. This is so cool. Free 60-day trial, 2 months. And it's not like you give them, and it's not like you don't have to give a credit card. So it's not like if you don't cancel it within like 3 days, they just hit your credit card. No, it's
Right.
you send them an email and they shoot you a registration key. And there's tons of YouTube tutorials on learning it. You got to sit down and watch this shit. Trust me, it takes time, but it's free, and
Okay.
and it's a great, and they're real smart too because they have different price levels, right? When you pay a one-time fee, it's not like a yearly fee or a monthly. You pay a one-time fee, but they go down from like $200, $250 up to like 1,200. They're really smart though. What they do is the free thing they give you for 2 months is their top-end thing. It's like the one that costs $1,200. So they want you to get
Okay.
used. Yeah, well, yeah, they're smart. They want you to get used to like the best
Right.
their top line thing. But who gives a shit? You don't have to get the top line thing. You can. I didn't get the top line thing. I went down a couple of notches myself. But
Right.
2 months. I mean, you can learn. Hell, you can learn anything in 2 months. and that's what I started using. In fact, like where you see on the bottom, it says video call, send email to. They have like that video call side by side kind of camera thing, like you see Google Hangouts, like O'Shea does and stuff, and
Right.
Information Man. Yeah, except this is the quality. You'll see it is much better because Google Hangouts is kind of old technology for YouTube. You start with Google; it's like probably like 8 years old, and they really haven't done much to
Right.
advance it. That's just Google. Why I don't know. But anyway, this is like the camera quality is better what comes across the internet and everything. So yeah, I just if you get into a laptop or a
Okay.
desktop, definitely check out vmix.com. If you have a PC, now if you have an app, if you end up getting a Mac, I hate Apple, then Ecamm, and I think Ecamm is just straight up free. ECAMM double Mary, and
Okay.
Axe Truth uses that. He uses Ecamm, and that's you know. Trust me, man. If you get into it, you'll see. Yeah, you start playing with it, and it's you can't get off the damn thing. You'll probably get a divorce. So, cause be like, no, I get yelled at because I get yelled at myself. It's like, what are you doing? Oh, what are you doing up so late? What's going on? It's like, I'm busy. Then you got to lie. It's like, no,
Right.
I'm having an affair. I'm not on VMix. I'm not having an
Right.
affair. Sure, no problem. But yeah, check it out, man. But yeah, I definitely gonna.
All right. Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna sub to your site. Is it just straight up Tony Patriot? Is that the name of your channel?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, yeah, you can just click if you want when I'm back in the chat. Obviously, I'm not in there now because I'm on my phone talking to you, but you can just click on my picture if you can, or it's just Tony Patriot. Yeah, it's just Tony space Patriot. It used to be my full name Patriot, and then I realized I had to spell it to everybody, and it made it difficult.
Right, right.
So I simplified it, and nobody else was Tony Patriot. So I'm like, all right, cool, that's me.
Yeah, that's the nice thing. It's
So
like when I did Carl's Opinion, there was nobody else, no other Carl's Opinion, so I was like, you're able to grab it. But I tell you
right.
what I'll do is I'll probably do it off the other computer. I'm afraid. I'm scared. I'm scared if I do it on the streaming computer, I'll blow my stream. But what I'll do is I'll do it on
Okay, don't do that.
yeah. I'll be like, oh shit, I'm gone. It's like, oh, where'd he go? Oh, he's gone. But what I'll do is I'll do it on the other computer. In fact, let me just punch over here. There we go.
Yeah, because I mean, I even like did it the other day, and I put Tony P-A-T, and it came up. So
Yeah, hold on. Let me do it right now. Hold on. I'll do it on this computer here. Hold on. The reason why I have to use two computers is not because I'm a dick. It's because my internet service here is so shitty. I only have 10 megabytes going up.
okay,
Oh, yeah, that's it. The most I can get. I live in, when I said 60 miles outside of Vegas, that's Pahrump. It's like a real rural county. And so you got 10 megabytes coming up. So I have two internet services, one for downloading like the newspaper articles and stuff online. And then then I use another internet service on another computer to upload. Otherwise, I buffer like crazy. I was doing that. I was buffering.
oh
It was,
geez,
it was Buffer City, man. So here, let me punch in
yeah,
TON. So is it TON space Patriot?
Tony
Yeah.
space Patriot. Yeah,
Gotcha. Hold on. There you go. Tony Patriot. Bang. Hey, there you are. Boom. Okay. Subscribe. Boom. Bell. Ding.
I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, I got it right here. In fact, let me grab that
Believe
link.
me,
I'm going to grab the link. Hold on. Shit. I'm on the wrong computer. Fuck. God damn it. Let's see. Wait. There's a way for me to do this. I can get it. Oh, hold on. I can get the link. Nope. I'm on the wrong. I got it. I'm on the wrong computer. But no. Okay, hold on. This is what I'll do. I got it. Yeah, you have to think this shit through. Then you can figure it out. All right, boom, and then I can do this. Hold on. Okay, let's see. I can do this. I can add a title. I know there's a way to. I know there's a way to do it. Damn it! And I just got to think about it. Okay, hold on. Here we go. I got it. Okay, title.
I mean, I'll be back in the chat if it's not that
All
big
right,
of a
man.
deal.
Yeah, hey, yeah, go ahead, man. And hey, thanks for calling in. And I'm gonna find a. I'm thinking of a way right now to get your thing on here coming
Yeah,
up.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'll be back in the chat if it's not a big deal. I mean, if
No,
somebody's in there and they want to
I want.
subscribe to me, they can just click on my picture, man.
Yeah, I just want to promote your site. I mean, that's totally cool. All right, man.
Yeah,
Hey,
I appreciate it.
yeah, totally. Hey, thanks for calling in, man.
All right, man. I'll call in again sometime if it's cool.
Good deal. Anytime. All right, have a good one.
All right, man. Take care. Nice to meet you.
All right, nice meeting you. Bye-bye.
All right, bye now.
All right, that was a great Tony Patriot, and Carl is sitting here trying to figure out how to do this. I'm going to rack my brain, but I think I got it. Let's see. I think I got it. Let's see. Let's see here. Watch this. Control V. Aha! Let's see. I think that's doing it. Let's see. Oh, it was doing it. I wasn't watching it. Okay, hold on. I think that will do it. Let's see. Watch this. Let's see. Well, and then do this. All right, let's see. Let's see how it comes out. Boom. There you go. Oh wait, hold on. That makes no sense because that doesn't have his name on it. Okay, here we go. We'll do this one more time. Okay, let's see. Tony. All right, let's see how that works. Yay, there you go. Tony Patriot YouTube channel, subscribe. And there's the link. And let's see. Let me see how this looks over here. Dunk. Hey, there you go. See, that's pretty cool. I think it's very cool. Hey, that's cool. Up, that just covered that up. That was like really stupid. So hold on, let's do this. Whoop. Try that. There we go. All right, there you go. Tony Patriot YouTube channel. Subscribe. YouTube. And you can't really link off the screen. I know that, but there's the address. So yeah, really cool guy. And yeah, I've seen him on Mike Nifson's show a bunch of times. These two Florida guys and Super Patriots, and yeah, they were right in the middle of that Andrew Gillum race down there with Ron DeSantis. So they were like on the ground, like covering all this stuff, and it was some real crazy stuff going on. We were watching it, on the national scene, but they were actually like living it. That must have been pretty crazy. I mean, just all because we were getting some, you're getting some of the news reports, but they were getting all the news reports, all the crazy stuff that was going on down there, and with the vote count and which illegal alien is voting on this race and the recount and oh geez. So yeah, Mike did some really great reporting from down there. I remember catching because I was trying to get the news on that. I couldn't get any news, but I knew Mike was down there, so I was watching his channel a lot, and he was all over the place. And Tony was on his channel a lot doing interviews with him and stuff. So that was really good. So anyway, Tony Patriot YouTube channel, subscribe, and youtube.com/channel/UCLAPD. And there you go. So totally cool. Alrighty. So I'll pop that back up later for sure, and so you guys can see it again. But let's go ahead and we'll get to some other news stories here that I wanted to get to. There we are. Let me get myself off of here. Yay, there we are. All right, so let's go ahead and see. Where were we here? Let's see. Boom. All right, and see, let's read this one story that we were. All right, let's go ahead and get to this one. Boom. All right. Texas area's zero tolerance shift. In one border section, prosecutors halted. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Hey, no problem, man. And see, Texas area's zero tolerance shift. In one border section, prosecutions halted for individuals crossing illegally for first time. Del Rio, Texas. The Trump administration has curtailed a key component of its zero tolerance immigration policy, no longer charging first time illegal border crossers with a crime along a busy stretch of West Texas. Prosecutions of single migrant. There we go. Get it here. Prosecutions of single migrant adults caught crossing the border for the first time in and around Del Rio were suspended. So no longer prosecuting these people when they catch them coming across the border. So if they're not prosecuting them, that means they're releasing them because they got no room to. They got no jail space for them. U.S. Border Patrol officials said. Mr. Douchebag coming in. Here we go. Hey, Mr. Douchebag, how you doing?
What's up, Carl? How you doing? How is everything?
Going good, man. Going good.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Tony Patriot. You know, I give him lots of credit. You know, he's trying. You know, I mean, we're all trying. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, no, I remember. I thought he had his own channel because I've seen him, and then when he said he was friends with Mike Magnificent, and then I'm like. And I go, wait, okay. Then he said he's in Florida. I put two and two together. And I realized, oh God, he's appeared on Mike's show a bunch of times. And he goes, yeah. And I go, okay, that's where I've seen you. but you.
Yeah, I'm on. I'm on Mike's. I comment on Magnificent's channel too.
Yeah, no, he has.
I don't know.
He has a good side because during that Florida campaign, he was giving the best, most up to date news. He was almost like every single day he was doing a story from there.
Yeah.
So that was totally cool. But so, what are you up to tonight, man? What are you doing?
Nothing much. I'm catching your show. I was watching. Saw Axel live, but hey, I'd rather come over to Carl's show. You know what I mean?
Well, I was texting. I was texting Ax. Ax and I were texting today. I sent Ax a text message. I don't know, like 4 or 5 days ago. When I showed him that ad I ran and the event I did, the chili cook off. So he responded back to me today. He was telling me about his dog Otto and stuff. And I said, hey, I try not to put my live shows on yours. I wrote what times, because I think if he did too, what times are you going on tonight? And he said 7 o'clock his time, which is like 4 o'clock my time. So I said, okay, 7. So I did the math and I added a few hours to that. So I figured, okay, I was going to go like 4 hours above, and I said, I'll give like 5 hours over. So I started, midnight. I figured that'd give him plenty of time to get done. And then when I was getting everything set up and everything already set up, I'd already posted. I was going to go on around like 6:45 or so, posted in my community section and also up on YouTube. And then I was just getting ready to go on. And I was clicking around, and I see he's coming on at 8:45. And I'm like, oh, well, I mean, I've already done it. I already put all the work in to get all this thing ready to go. And I'm like, sorry, man. It's like, I'm going on, So, but I mean, I wish you would have told me you were going to do 2 shows, because what I would have done then, when I would have gone on at 7 o'clock, you know what I'm saying, or like 6:45, and I mean, like his show, then my show in between them, and then I wouldn't have bounced on top. I wouldn't have bounced on top of his live night show, So that kind of thing. But hey, I wish he told me. But maybe he wasn't thinking about doing it until he started doing the other show, and he's like, oh, I'll do a late show. So hey,
Yeah.
But I'm kind of mad. I'm kind of the only thing I'm mad about is I wanted to watch his show. So now I'm not watching the show because I'm on my show, because I'm doing my so I can't watch his show.
No, but you know what, Carl?
You do mine at the same time. I can't watch his show if I'm doing mine at the same time. But that's okay. That works. It works out.
No, Carl. In truth, it's good that there's 2 shows going on at one time, because you're covering stuff, he's covering stuff. Axel, to me, I mean, he's great. I love watching Axel's show, but. Axel, believe it or not, and I know I've mentioned this before on your show, like, there are people who are getting newly red-pilled, right? People like Axel, Stexenhammer, they're more, they still have left-leaning views, which is fine. Like I've always said, I have some left-leaning views too. It just depends on what it is, But I lean more right than I do left, right? But see, Axel's good at bringing over those who are trying to figure out what's going on or what's been going on, because they can put it in a way that won't push them away. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like if they were to go to Derek Grayson, like let's say somebody who's newly red-pilled, right? and they go to Derek Grayson, they may not be able to, because, I respect Derek Grayson and I like everything he talks about, but he talks from a very, 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 like I said, I believe in God and everything, but he talks from like a very hardcore religious, viewpoint, which there's nothing wrong with, but that might drive some of the people that are, looking to maybe come over see what we got. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so where Axel and Stexenhammer can actually ease them into it, bring them into it,
right.
Kind of show them, you know what I'm saying? And that's
Totally.
good that we have people like that,
Yeah, no, I mean, because the more people on the left that are getting red pilled and seeing, that, hey, they've been brainwashed, and this Mueller report, that didn't wake. Now, here's the deal: if that didn't wake you up, that you just got lied to and bullshitted for 2 years, because I've watched those MSNBC shows for the last 2 years, and Brian Williams on tonight. Remember, I don't know if you remember me saying this. I used to say every Friday night, Brian Williams, hey, is this a smoking gun? Is this a smoking gun? And then by Tuesday it fizzled out, and then the next Friday was a news. So for 104 weeks, 104 Fridays, I got to see Brian Williams talk about the smoking gun, and sure enough, the TV's on MSNBC, and I walk by it, and there's Brian Williams at 20 after the hour, and what's he talking about? Russia. Yeah. He has the former ambassador to Russia on. They're talking about Russia, and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Man, like there's so much news going on around the world right now, and there he is within the first his main story, because he's in the the first half of the hour, the 20-minute mark when he's finishing up for the first commercial, he's talking about Russia, and I'm like, Jesus, man, give it a rest. Oh, Tony, it's tough, but I like watching MSNBC every once in a while because I get to see what the hell they're talking about, and it does. Trust me, I want to throw something in the TV set, but screw that, man. I bought that damn thing. I'm not going to throw something in the TV set I paid for. It's like but still, I want to throw something at it. I want to throw something at it though.
Oh yeah, well you know what they're doing. They're trying to mess with the Electoral College. That's what they're trying to do. Flood more people into states. Get them to turn, turn them purple, turn them blue.
Right. Hey, they just did that to my state. What they're trying to do is they're messing with the census. They want to mess with the census. That's what they want to do. That's what they're trying to do. Right.
You have some of these former holdover, ICE agents that were under Obama that are moving people around, different states and different counties, and and it's like, Trump. Trump is, he's on the ball with this stuff. I mean, he's keeping his campaign promises, and like I've said many times before in the show, they know, the Democrats have people running numbers day in and day out. What are Trump's chances? What is this? What is this based on this scenario, that scenario? They're scared. They're scared that this man stands a damn good chance of getting reelected. They don't want him getting reelected. We all know this, I mean, what are they going to do? Let's say Kamala Harris or one of these, other progressive Democrats, go up against Trump. We all know they're going to say, well, they're up ahead by 70 points. And
they'll do total suppression polls just like they did last time to suppress our vote. They make the polls look so bad that people figure, well, look, there's no chance my guy can win, no chance Trump can win. I'll just stay home. And for some reason, I don't know how the hell it happened. I mean, I wasn't going to stay home. You weren't going to stay home. Those polls weren't going to work on us. But for some reason, the majority of people came out anyway, and I am so freaking impressed that they did. That no matter even when all these people around the country were told there's no chance he's going to lose, they still went to those rallies when he was like 8 points down. Still went to the rallies, still went out to the polls and voted. I mean, that shows you some real dedication. That the things had gotten so bad in this country that we needed this guy to come in and fix it, and people were willing to go out and vote for somebody they thought was going to lose. I mean, I thought he was going to lose. I thought he was going to. The night I'm not sure I told you this story, but maybe I did. But I was down in Vegas that night picking up some suits, and it was around 5 p.m. my time, so like 8 o'clock East Coast time. And the store manager was the only Republican in the whole store. All their salespeople were Democrats and stuff. And there's a TV set. And the TV's on near the dressing room. and I'm back there talking to her. The TV showing the exit polls from North Carolina, and that's the scene where you see Hillary hugging Bill and Chelsea and stuff because the exit polls had come in way in favor of her. So we just looked at each other and we're like, well, I guess I'm just going to go home and just be miserable for 4 years. And she goes, yeah, me too. So I said, hey, later. It was just kind of like, And so I drove all the way home to Pahrump, which is about an hour and a half drive because it's around rush hour, but a good hour and a half. And I didn't have the radio on. I had Google on with my music channel for Google, so I didn't hear any news. Then I get home and I'm being really slow about putting on the TV set too. I'm doing extra stuff. Get this food, get this, get that. Move the chair. And then finally I put the TV set on, and it wasn't that much after I put the TV set on that they called North Carolina for Trump. And I was sitting down at the time when they did it. I literally jumped out of my chair just straight up as high as I could jump. And I couldn't believe it. But I remember that night, right up until I came home and saw they called it for North Carolina for Trump, I thought he was going to lose. So the idea that tens of millions of Americans would come out to vote for him, even though they thought he was going to lose, those suppression polls didn't work. So hopefully those suppression polls, because you're right. You are so right. Those polls are going to be out again. And they're going to show her or him or whoever's on the Democratic side way ahead. You're going to have Steve Kornacki on MSNBC with the map and showing, there's no way he can win, and she's got this state, and this state's going this way, and here's the demographics, and these are our internal polls. This is our polling showing, this city, that city, and she wins or he wins, but it'll be like the Democrat wins. And every CNN will do it too. NBC News will do it. ABC, CBS. And hopefully the American people aren't fooled, because we weren't fooled last time, maybe some people were, because maybe the numbers would have been even higher for him. But I think this time, between this whole Mueller thing and the way they called the last election in 2016, and they totally blew it on purpose, not by mistake, on purpose. Hopefully Americans, when they see these stupid polls coming out, they'll say, hey, you know what? We know you're full of shit. We know you're lying to us. Okay, and we're going to go out and vote.
You know what's interesting right now? There's a couple of things, right? One thing is now Trump is saying that the Republicans are going to be the party of healthcare now, right? Now, I say this is a brilliant move on his part. And the reason why I say that is because he's going to try and introduce some bills, right? He's going to try and, get some, see about, introducing a bill in the House, and you watch the Democrats, they ain't going to vote on it. They're not going to want to vote on it. They're not even going to touch healthcare, right? And what that's going to do is it's going to wake people up. I'm willing to bet you it's going to wake people up even more, because he's basically, he's again showing the left that he's willing to work with them. Now, the center left might be able to see it, you know what I'm saying? And they might be able to swear, but the far left ain't gonna. They're not gonna see that unless they get red pilled massively. But they're not going to be able to, they're not going to be able to see, that Trump is trying to do something with healthcare. I mean, these people, he never said take away people's health insurance. He just said repeal and replace. I mean, obviously you don't want a government controlled healthcare, but there are things the government can do to make it more affordable for people, like bringing down the cost of prescription drugs for one thing, maybe, I don't know, something like maybe, cut back on how much, how many illegals are getting, getting our the health care, because, along the border, they're closing hospitals, they're closing clinics because they can't cope with the I mean, my heart bleeds for these people, Carl. I mean, like I say, I'm half Latin myself, but that doesn't mean that I want to see our country flooded with people from the third world.
I was thinking about this earlier today, and I haven't come up with an answer, because I was thinking about, okay, you look wherever like Spain went, like when the British, when the English rather were colonizing, different parts of the world, and the Spanish were doing the same thing. Wherever the English went, you end up with like these really great free market kind of countries that do really well, and then you look wherever the Spanish went, and you look at the countries today, like the Philippines, Mexico, Central America, South America, they generally suck. Yeah. And I was trying to figure out what the difference was. I can't figure. The only thing I could think of was I mean, the only thing, there's two things. One, the Moors occupied Spain much longer than they occupied the rest of Europe, and they never occupied England.
Mm-hmm.
And then two, the Catholic Church was so dominant in Spain, and the first part, the Moors occupying, they needed a strong leader. So you had your king. You never got like the Parliament kind of revolting. The Cromwell, civil war in Spain like you had in England. So you didn't have that. They needed a strong leader because they had to kick the Moors out of their country, and then they just kept going on with the aristocracy. And then two, the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
The Catholic Church is basically socialism. And I'm Roman Catholic. I went to Jesuit school for 4 years, and so I know what I'm talking about. But it's basically a socialistic kind of idea. We all share alike, and we all live together in like kind of a Catholic kind of commune kind of situation. So maybe that kind of bodes badly for like a free market kind of thought process. But you look at like countries like Mexico, El Salvador. I mean, there's no reason why these countries should be poor. I mean, you think like, okay, like imagine if we hadn't conquered Mexico in our war, and then Mexico still controlled New Mexico, Texas. Well, Texas already had the revolution, but say New Mexico, Arizona, California, Nevada, those areas. I mean, I guarantee you, where I'm sitting right now would look like freaking Mexico. It would look like shit.
Yeah.
And then and then people living here would be trying to go north to, I guess, Canada. To try to get away from. But the fact that we conquered this land and we put our Puritan work ethic, English free market ideology into this place, and ingenuity and individual rights and stuff. Nevada, California, New Mexico, Arizona, they're free market. They're Western style looking countries. They look good. I mean, states.
Yeah.
But I mean, if there was still part of Mexico, it'd probably look like the rest of Mexico looks like, which looks like shit.
Yeah. Oh, Carl, real quick, let me give a shout out to Lee Pure Imagination UTV, another great patriot. And Carl, I don't know if Lee'd be interested in maybe going live with you. I think it'd be cool. I mean, like if he went live with you, would I be able to talk to him as well through talking to you on your Skype?
Okay, hold on. I'm going to think about that for give me half a second, because I was thinking about that the other day.
Sorry.
No. I have to think in my head, so I'm going to think out loud. So you're going to hear my brain working, which is a really scary thing. But okay, let me see now. So it comes through. Okay, this is me thinking out loud. Okay, so if Lee comes on live on a side by side in like a video call, that audio comes through over to here. I'm pointing to the mixer board. You can't see me pointing, but that's what I'm doing. I'm pointing to the mixer board. Okay, that comes through over to here, and then that comes through the main mix, and then yes, I think you can. Now, if I'm wrong, worst thing is I'm wrong. But I think, yes, that while he's on and I have his audio going, now we'll be kind of stepping over each other, so we got to kind of be mindful of that. But as long as we're mindful, because we're not assholes, so as long as we don't step all over each other, I think the mixer board, well, I know the mixer board can handle it. Because the whole point of a mixer board is that it mixes the audio, okay? So it's supposed to, do good shit like that. And then the mixer in the video with Lee and I, that can work. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Lee, you want to go live with Carl? I mean, if Carl's okay with it,
I'm definitely I'm definitely okay with it. Yeah. Now you and I talking right now. We're probably about 30 seconds behind that chat. Okay, you and I talking.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So you'd have to almost put it on a chat.
Yeah. But what's interesting, Carl? I'll wait till the chat comes off. But the funny thing is, like, the British have always had a better understanding of economics, better than the Spanish, better than the French. Right. That's why they were, that's one of the things that helped them have a powerful empire. But the East India Trading Company, or the East, like the East India Trading Company, they had a lot of influence in the British Empire. Everywhere they went, they always had some kind of hand in the law or whatever was, being done, but, we, like you were saying, we brought, when our founding fathers came over, they brought a lot of those free market ideas and things, and just kind of spread it out through the whole of the United States, But, it's funny because I remember seeing this one thing on History Channel one time, and let's say whenever France or Spain went to war with a country, sometimes they would take control of, like, the weapons maker, the blacksmiths and all that. So the blacksmiths couldn't overcharge them for, weapons and things that they needed, So basically, the blacksmiths were like, we have to comply, or they're, or we're going to probably pay the ultimate price, But, the British have, the British, you're like, this may sound a little crazy, but think of the times too, If you were a citizen of the British Empire, let's say you had a job that you worked 16 hours a day, very little sleep, your hands were bruised, your feet were bruised, but you at least ate, you had a place to sleep, you were better off than somebody who had nothing, pretty much, I mean, but again, I'm thinking of the times, thinking of those times, living through those times, you know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, soldiers had it pretty well. They were taken care of, fairly well fed. But the British at least had an understanding. At least treating people a little bit better. They treated their people a little bit better than, say, what France did or what Spain did.
Right.
Back in those days. I mean, if people. Like, of course, today we consider it barbaric, but back then it was humane, for the times, I mean, let's say if you let's say you did something wrong, like say a watchman fell asleep or something, he might get 10 lashes. Well, in Spain or France, you might get 15, 20, that's the lesser of the two evils, basically, or the three evils,
Right.
I mean, yeah, it still hurt. You don't want to get the lashes, but, I mean, be thankful that's all they did, because, sometimes they probably, they might, I mean, I'm just, I'm not trying to sound, crazy or anything, but, that, you just have to look at the times, that they lived in, But, the funny thing is that, in like what we were talking about, is Lee coming on? Oh, I saw something.
No, I didn't see. Well, he said it sounds good. He might have been calling, but I can't. Oh yeah, Lee, if that was you calling on the phone, yeah, I can't conference a call, but I can bring a video call where you're on video. So I sent.
Oh, do you want me to hang up and?
No.
You want me to hang up and?
No. No. The video call comes through a different thing than the phone. Yeah, it's not, the video call comes through the computer through vMix, and then the sound comes. I got everything going to a mixer board. Yeah, there's a really cool mixer board here. Though I want to upgrade my mixer board. I'm kind of like ready. Like I was telling Tony, there's no way in hell I could have afforded to go out and buy all this stuff at once. But what I do is like I save my money. I have one credit card. The only credit card I have is linked to my checking account. If I don't have the money, I don't buy it. Okay, that's how it works in my life.
Yeah.
I'm probably getting to the point where now I could probably afford to upgrade my mixer board to give me a little bit more things I can do with the sounds and stuff. Like right now I have three EQs, high, medium, and low. I like to get a board that has four, where it has two mid-range EQs, so you can make the sound even sound better. That's what I'm kind of looking at right now. But basically, if he sends me, if he doesn't want to appear on video call, that's fine. But if he wants to appear on video call, like just I wrote in the chat on how to do it. But I don't see I don't see an email from him, so maybe he doesn't want to do it. Let me see.
Okay, no, that's cool. That's cool. I just, it'd be cool to talk to Lee, because I've always seen him on his live streams, and I've always wanted to talk to him,
Yeah,
but,
well, I'm trying to. There might be a way for me to do a conference call, because I actually have two Skype phone numbers. I paid for two separate Skype numbers, but I'm trying to remember how to do that. I don't know how I would do that. Let's see. Let me think about that one. Yep, I'm gonna have to do some research on that.
Okay, no, that's all good.
Yeah, I will do some. Trust me. This operation. That's why I got mad at that one guy last night. It's like, hey, goddamn, you know how much time it takes to put all this shit together? Like, because I'm constantly researching new stuff. And in fact, I got, remember the problems I was having as far as like people calling in and I couldn't zap. Well, anyway, I got a device. I got a device coming, just like when you call in on a radio show and they bleep you, and the radio show keeps going. Well, I got one of those coming. Yeah. So Monday I should be able to have that hooked up where I don't have to worry about keeping the volume down on the initial phone calls because I keep the volume up. And then if somebody says something stupid, I hit a what do they call it button like a well, call it a zap button, and it zaps it, you know, for several seconds or for as long as I want, and then I can just hang up on them. So what I'll be able to do is, unlike last night where people say I can't hear, well, you're right, you couldn't, but then I'll be able to do it where you can hear them. But if they do say something stupid, it's called a digital delay with a push button. So it's a digital delay, and then it works. In fact, I'll tell you what it's called. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what it's called right now. Hold on. Let's see. Boom. I can tell you what it's called. Let's see. It's called a digital broadcast profanity delay unit. Oh, with a dump button. They call it a dump button. So basically, if somebody's saying something stupid, it's a digital delay, right? So it doesn't even make it. You know, it's delaying it by however many seconds, and then you hit zap, and then it dumps them. It dumps whatever they said. So yeah, I had to get a used one because the new ones were expensive, so I got a used one. And but it's used, but it came, the outfit that does it, it's a really good outfit. It's like buying like a like you see those when you buy a car, they say certified pre-owned or something like that. Yeah, same thing. So I got one of those. So you know, but but you gotta you gotta shop when you buy this stuff. You can't just go buy like, oh, I'm gonna buy that. You know, you gotta shop. You gotta shop around. You know, it's important.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing.
You know what's really funny is like sometimes I'll go into like other chat rooms and people are like, hey, it's the great douchebag, you know, and they're like, you know, making emojis at me and waving at me, you know. But sometimes.
Oh wait, hold it. Oh wait, no, he just his phone number. Okay.
Was it Lee?
Yeah, that was Lee calling. He sent me his phone number, but I guess he doesn't want to appear on the video call. But okay, I tell you what.
Okay,
well, no,
okay.
I'll tell you what. No, tell you what. Let me write here. I'm going to write to him real quick in the chat room. Okay, I'll tell you. I'll call you when I get off with Mr. Douchebag. Hold on. Hold on. At Lee. Boom. Call you when I finish. It always cracks me up when I spell douchebag on this site.
Yeah.
I mean, it always makes me laugh, you know, and I say, hey, the great douchebag, and I'm like, damn, I'm saying that out loud. It's like, you know, what the shit, you know? Too funny.
Oh, he says, don't know how to work it. I'm not sure. I mean, no pressure. I just thought, I just thought it'd be cool to talk to him, you know, because Lee, you know, Lee gives such great insight on a lot of the stuff that's going on, you know, and he, you know, and he's very knowledgeable, you know, and you know, trying to help him grow his channel, you know. I mean, you know, because he, you know, he's a great patriot, and you know, shout out to him. You know, he's a wonderful, you know, he's a wonderful guy. You know, he talks from the heart, you know, and just like when I watch Forbidden Information, she talks from the heart. You know, everybody, you know, and we need to get behind people like this. You know, that's why I support people like Lee and people like Forbidden Information.
Hold it. I'm stupid. The whole point he just sent me an email. So I'm going. He says I could not because I could not figure it out. Well, the reason why I couldn't figure it out because I didn't send him. I didn't send him a freaking email because I'm stupid. Okay, now watch this. Okay. This is gonna make sense like in about 2 seconds. Okay, hold on here.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. Let's see now. Okay, so boom. Okay, let's pull. Let's see. Hold on.
I think I have like a minute or 30-second delay on my laptop.
Okay. Okay. Hold on. Okay, and then watch this. Da-da. Mm-hmm. All right. This should go. Hopefully that got, let's see. Send. Message could not be sent. Check your network and try again. Huh. I wonder why.
I wonder if that's YouTube.
No. It should have just gone. Oh, that's weird. Well, shit. Maybe I copied his address wrong. Let's see here. Inbox. Okay, let's try it this way. Let's try this. Okay. Oh, there we go. All right, okay, Lee, I just sent you, I'll write this in. Let's see. You and email. Click on the link. Oh, there we go. Let's see. That should, okay, this should work. So let's find out if it does. Okay, hold on. And make sure his audio is up. Audio up. Audio is up. Yeah, audio. Okay, I'm going to kill one mic and I'm going to go to another one, okay? So give me a second. Hold on.
Okay.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, good deal. Cool.
There he is.
Hey, there you are. All right.
Hold on,
hey.
I got a buffer. Hold on. Is that
everything?
Lee?
I had to run. I had to go inside of the restroom. I know it looks like it's
Hello?
out of the restroom or what. My wife has
Wait,
the room.
yeah, hold on.
Use.
Hold on. Wait, hold on, douche. Hold on, douche. Okay,
I got a delay.
Okay, hold on. Oh yeah, you know what? Okay, you might have a delay. That's right.
No problem.
Yeah, no, because I accidentally hit a button and I'm trying to get your show back up on my laptop. Let me see.
Oh wait, hold it. You're not on the. Damn it!
No, I am now. Yeah.
No problem, Carl.
No. You're good. You're good. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. I told everybody that I had to think this through. Okay, hold on. All right.
No.
Here we go. Donk. All right, we should be on. Okay.
All right.
It's a 30-second delay. Hold on, I think it's like a minute or 30-second delay.
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Okay, douche, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Lee, you there?
Yes, sir. Right.
All right.
Okay, I see Lee. Yo,
All right.
Lee, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Man? Show looks good. You're doing a good job.
Carl?
Yeah, no, I think he was talking to you.
Well,
hey, Lee?
Both of you guys are doing a great job. It's
Thanks. Thanks, man.
Yeah, you guys are doing an absolute great job.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking at
Can Lee hear me?
How many thousands of people are headed
Oh,
towards
hold
the
on.
border.
Hey, Lee, can you hear
Yeah.
douchebag?
I can hear him. It's a bit of a delay. It seems like it's maybe a 5 to 10 second
Hang on, let me
delay.
turn it up real quick.
It looks like it's about a 5-10 second delay.
Okay, I might be able to hear Lee through my laptop. Hold on a second. Can Lee hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. Tell him I
Okay,
can
Carl,
hear
I think I have a bit of a delay, but that's okay.
5 seconds, 10 seconds delay.
All right, good deal. Okay, so Lee, tell us about what you do.
Well, what I try to do is basically just. I try
Carl,
to
I
bring
got a bit of
a
delay
lot
on my end, so I'll just, like you were
alternative
saying
news,
earlier.
articles, and really just kind of, and sometimes in a sarcastic way. Like, I'll give you an example. Like today, I was inside of the post office, sending off some letters. Okay, so well, was in there.
Carl?
So I started making everyone laugh.
Yeah.
And
Wait, hold on. Hold on, Lee. Okay,
Sure.
Lee. Okay, douche. The only way you could really do this is to go on the video with us.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Well, if you want, I can just hang up and then let you guys talk, and I can talk through the chat.
Okay, yeah, and then I'll call.
Would that be better?
I'll call you back.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'll see you in the chat.
All right. Bye. All right, Lee. Go ahead.
Okay, there we go. So anyhow, I like to sometimes I'll just bring just some, basic things from like either the Gateway Pundit, sites like that. I'll share articles with people and just try to bring some light to those things because, I used to love Fox News, but I don't know what's going on at Fox anymore. It doesn't look like the Fox I knew. So basically, I just try to go out there and bring some tips are not being shed in the public side. Like I shed, like I was talking about an article like maybe 6-8 weeks ago, and I forget the gentleman's name. It was coming from Breitbart News, and they were talking about how the Dems are looking for a crisis in order to hammer down on gun laws. So I was talking about that maybe 6, 7, 8 weeks ago. He said really couldn't get any of our laws passed because there wasn't, a crisis up front. So, unfortunately, we had the, crisis that just happened recently. And I was telling people basically, those are some of the things I try to bring to light to people that, there's great articles, great information out there, but stuff's being buried. So what I try to do is bring all this stuff out and just try to keep whatever I can up to date. And like I said, you can look at my archives. I was talking about that 6, 7, 8 weeks ago. And then unfortunately, we had the unfortunate incident recently. So I try to do stuff like that. And the things that Fox won't cover, for whatever particular reason, I try to cover it. And just bring a, simple, hard-working blue-collar guy's point of view to it.
So what was the, okay, hold on. Let me see. I got like this echo in my, hold on. Let's see.
Yeah.
I think, okay. I think that's better right there. Okay, go ahead.
So, those are just some things I try to do. And especially when I'm in public, like when I start shedding light on, okay, I'll give you an example. Back in 2017, we had the incident. You remember the whole thing with the mosquitoes, the Zika virus, whatever how they were talking about.
Yeah, it was like some big deal.
Okay. Exactly. Okay, so you remember in California and in Florida, they were telling people they've just created in a laboratory, which they did do, these other mosquitoes to eat them up. And they had a virus, and they're going, oh, but don't go out there and go kill. And this is what the liberals are saying. Don't kill those mosquitoes because we need them to eat up the other mosquitoes. So happened today, I'm inside of the post office, and one of them comes in there. Big, gigantic thing, almost the size of like a dragonfly or a baby shoe. So this thing in there, and I go, oh, Zika virus, and all the liberals start getting scared. So then I start kind of making fun of them, and start going, remember you guys said don't kill them. So it's like, they're just quiet. I said, oh, you don't even believe what you and I show them on my phone. Once again, that's what I do. I'll take them to their own articles, like on MSNBC, and I show them. I said, this is what you guys are printing, but they're quiet. They can't say anything because they don't even believe this crap.
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, nobody would have a brain believe this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I bring things like that to light to them, and the whole place just gets quiet, and the 3-4 conservatives in there are just cracking up. They're laughing at this stuff. I said, yeah, you guys don't believe that. You wouldn't let one of those things around your 8-month-old baby, would you? They're just quiet. And I said, yeah, you don't really believe this stuff, do you, people? You're just on autopilot and just doing whatever these people command you to do because this is your favorite singer. This is Melissa Milano, whatever that's telling you to believe in this crap, and you're just believing it. And when I point that out, it was absolute just perfect timing, like from heaven, like it was dropped in there from heaven, and they just got quiet. They couldn't say anything. And then I said, look at this. We're in this post office, right? They just raised the taxes up in California to God knows what. And so check this out. I should have filmed this on my phone. Working in a major city, I kid you not, behind the glass, and there's about 30 to 40 people in line. But Lord knows how they've raised the taxes up. And I'm saying, hey, this is what you guys paid for. This is what you guys voted in. And they're like, well, yeah, I'm going to move to over here. I said, why are you going to move over there? Only thing you're going to do is vote in the same thing that you voted over here. You're going to vote in people that are associated with this place. And they get quiet. Yeah.
No, I'm seeing that right now in Nevada. Right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We just went blue. We just went blue this the last election cycle. Why am I getting? Sorry, I'm getting like this.
Because I know, and it's unfortunate, Carl, because I know a lot of people that moved out there, okay, and they're from, unfortunately, California and places like New York. People moving to states of Texas, they're moving to Idaho, and they're destroying the place. And I said, why are you guys? And I told them in the post office, I said, why are you guys moving there, but you're voting for people who are associated that you can't stand anymore? All the guys you're voting for are associated, and those people are essentially giving them the thumbs up and encouraging people in your current state that you just moved to vote for them. And you're still voting for them.
Right.
And they can't say anything. Out here in California, we have to pay for bags. And I said, you voted for that. Okay, then you guys voted for your rent to go up. Then you guys voted for high gasoline taxes.
Yeah.
When is it that you guys are going to figure it out that something's wrong with their IQ? Like the great douchebag will say, they have the IQ of God, of not even of a squirrel. The IQ is lower than a squirrel. And, these people are just, they're absolute nutcases. And then when you corner them like that, they can't say nothing. Then they'll go, well, Trump. I said, wait a minute, this is a state issue. This has nothing to do with Trump.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah. No shit.
Yes. So I like to corner these people like that and show them themselves in a mirror what they're doing and show them their insanity and show them what they have voted for and what they believe in and what they're angry. The very thing that they believe in, they're angry about. And they're like, huh? I'm like, yeah, remember Urkel? Did I do that?
Right.
So it's like, so it's like, yeah, you did that. Yeah. And
Yeah, we just first gun control law in Nevada just passed.
Mm-hmm.
Passed.
And you have more of these zeros, these strange people moving there from California, ruining an awesome state like Nevada, and they're going to ruin it. Because they're absolutely ruining it. And it's the people, they're random like Jay-Z, Beyonce, and all these other crazies, these individuals that are, these movie stars and these football players and all this crap. And I said, look, you have nothing in common with these people. When was the last time that you have went back-to-back months making $15 million? Okay? So you have nothing in common with these people, all right? So get over yourselves and. 'and vote red, okay? Because you're screwing the whole country up. Okay, so I said, look, you guys have nothing in common with these people. When was the last time that you have went back-to-back months making $15 million? Okay? So you have nothing in common with these people, all right? So get over yourselves and vote red, okay? Because you're
Right. Tell you what, Lee, stay right there. Let me
Mhm.
just check on
Sure.
something.
Sure.
All right. All right. Whoa. You okay?
Mhm. Oh yeah, I'm okay. I just dropped something. That's all.
Oh shit. I'm
Yeah, I just dropped something.
like,
That's all. No,
like,
no big
like,
deal.
damn. I like, did
Yeah,
I hit a button and then all of a sudden you fell down? It was like shit.
yeah. I'm like, whoop, I dropped something. No big deal. I'm actually over here. My wife has the room right now that I normally use when I'm recording. So
Oh,
I'm
okay. Oh
yeah.
yeah.
So she took over that room tonight. So you know how that is. So
No,
yeah,
yeah, I got
yeah.
one of those. Right. Yeah. So I ended up taking the dining room over. It was
Right.
like, yeah, but oh well.
Yeah, I sat to surrender the rooms. It was with no avail. I didn't win that one. So oh well.
No, you can't win. You can't win those fights. Don't even try.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not worth it. But
Yeah.
uh, but hey, so your channel is Lee. It's
Pure
like you're.
Imagination U TV. Yeah. Hmm.
I think I subbed already. I can't do
Okay.
it. Can't do it from here without losing our picture. But
No,
I'll
no
definitely
big
do it.
deal. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, no big deal. Yeah, but that's kind of what I do, and the reason why I came up with the whole name Pure Imagination U because I noticed, with the whole mainstream media and all the everyone's favorite movie stars and football stars, basketball stars, all that nonsense. I noticed people no longer thought for themselves. I noticed they would say things like this with clothing. They would say, "This year, this is the color that everyone's going to be wearing." Or this year, this is the whatever that people are, or the skirt that everyone's going to be wearing. I'm like, maybe I don't like that skirt, you know? Maybe
Right.
that skirt doesn't look good on my wife or whatever, or maybe that jacket doesn't look good on me, but yet they're controlling us. And then it's like they just by kind of like the power of suggestion, they would just, you know, use their magic and get you to think. So my whole channel is to really encourage people to think for themselves and to recapture their God-given ability to just think for themselves and to use their own imagination, to use their own ability to objectively look at things and have and have their own take and not go out there and just believe whatever the MSNBCs, the CNNs, and all that crap is telling them to believe in because we have a big issue with that in California and New York, places like that, and that's the problem with the country right now. California, New York is the issue with this country.
Right. So what part of California do you live in?
Not far from Long Beach, basically not too far from there, from Long Beach area, but
Oh, Long Beach.
right next door. Yeah, Long Beach
Okay.
area, basically. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
Mhm.
you're in the heart of blue country right there.
Oh yeah, it gets no bluer than that, man.
Yeah.
I remember when this area was red years ago when I was a little boy. I remember that. I remember when there were, oh man, you could go. And I remember I was a kid, and Carl, I remember seeing the 50 caliber when it first came out, and I was like, wow, I want one of those. When
Yeah.
I was a little kid, I was about maybe 10, 12 years old, and there
Right.
was my older brother with my uncle, and I'm like, wow, I want one of those. And I could just remember so many things that were more red country. And little by little, they just picked it apart, picked it apart, picked it apart. And the place is not even, now this place, it literally looks like a third world country. I mean, if you call
Yeah.
them out,
Yeah. That's what
you
I've heard.
know,
I've heard it like I haven't been
hmm
to Southern Cal in a while. The last time I went
hmm
to Laguna Beach, so I kind of skirted that whole
hmm
area. I went down the 91 to the toll roads and took toll roads all the way, to South Orange County. So on the toll road, you
Yeah.
really don't see anything because you're like in the canyons. But from what I
Yeah.
hear from everybody that's like in Long Beach, L.A., even like Westminster and stuff, yeah, they say it's like total shit now.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's embarrassing. It's horrible. When you go up north, even in downtown LA, we're having a major breakout with freaking rats all over the place. We're
Yeah.
having a major breakout with freaking. You're finding needles all over the place up in San Francisco, up in downtown LA.
Oh, jeez. I, I didn't hear anything about the rats. I mean, what's up with the rats? Is like a rat outbreak?
You know what I'll do? I'll find the article, and because I was going to do a video actually on that. I'll send you the article. Oh, we have a breakout right now with big gigantic rats, like something from Sci-Fi Channel. Okay, I mean literally like freaking like a bunch of remember the old cartoon Ricky Tikki? I mean the daggone rats are like the size of Ricky Tikki. All right, in downtown LA, and just it's and, that's a state, whatever, where state things are taken care of, is just infested. It's absolutely infested with rats. And you can't tell these people that because, they raise the taxes up. And that's how these individuals, when they leave office, they're worth 15, 20 million bucks. How in the world, think about this, Carl.
Yeah.
Your salary, I don't know the salaries, anywhere between 185 and 210, 215. How in the world, you've been in office, you did maybe 3 terms, okay, then you got beat, whatever. And
Right.
how is it that you leave office and when you went in office, you were worth maybe 300,000. You leave office and you're worth 15.5 million or something. How in the
Yeah,
world
I
are
was
you
always
worth that kind of money?
yeah, I was always amazed by that. It seems like okay, right? You said like if you're making
Yeah.
like say 150,000, 200,000 a year, and then you got to pay your bills and pay for your house and all that at the same time, and then somehow you're able to accumulate like $10 million. Like how the hell did you save up $10 million? Like obviously you were told the right investments to make and things like that. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been able to make that kind of money.
Absolutely. And that's what the whole thing is, because that's what they do. See, what they do out here in places like New York, what they do, their whole game. All right, what they do is they start putting out there a bill that they're getting ready to sign. So pennies on the dollar, they'll go out and they'll go maybe purchase $10,000 of stock in something. And
Yeah.
let's say it is so they'll go and do that, and it's some new straw that they're coming out. The whole rule out here in California now is that if you go out and you serve a straw to a person and they didn't ask for it, you get in trouble with the law now in California.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's like
insane this place is.
crazy.
Yeah, that's how absolutely insane this place has gotten now. So that happens to you, and so now they have these other straws that they're selling out here, and they're I kid you not, Carl. The straws are made out of paper. I'm not making this up. I'm not. Matter of fact, if you want, I'll go get one. I think I know a restaurant where I can find one, and I'll send you one in the mail. You can do a show on it. How ridiculous California is, dude. Literally, it's made of paper. That's how lunatic these guys are. And hold on, son. Oh, hold on a second. I'm in here, son. So that's what's going on. But Carl, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here right now. I gotta do a couple of things with the kids around here. I'm gonna get ready to shut them down. But hey, man, it was a blessing coming on your show.
Oh man.
And I hope to come back.
Oh, definitely. I mean, no, it's great having you on, man. Yeah, anytime you want to, anytime you want to come on to a video call, what you do is just, wait, hold on. There you go. Anytime you want to come on to a video call, just put when you're in the chat, just put in the chat. I just sent you an email because then I'll open the window for my email and I'll reply and just like I did tonight, shoot you the link. We'll put you right on. So anytime you want to appear on a video call just like this, just put in the chat. Hey, just sent you an email, and then I'll pick it up and I'll shoot it right back to you.
Perfect. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. God bless you, brother. Have a good.
God bless you, Lee. All right, have a good one. All right, bye-bye. And let's see. There we go. And boom. All right. Okay, I'm going to switch mics. Give me a second.
He's still hurting.
All right. I think I'm back. Hey, that was totally cool. Yeah, one thing I got to fix is for some reason when I tested it, I didn't hear the feedback loop coming through when I was talking, when I was testing out with my own phone and testing it through. But yeah, I noticed a little bit of echo coming back into my headsets when I was talking to him, so I had to play with the audio a little bit. But I think I totally get that. That's like a simple solution, and that's not the kind of thing you'd hear on the other end anyway. So, yeah, great. That was great. Mr. Douchebag, I'm pretty sure you were the guy who brought Lee over here, so thank you so much for doing that. Really, really great guy. Definitely want to hear more from him because he's right down there in Ground Blue Zero. Up, we got Mr. Douchebag coming back on. Hold on. Here we go. Mr. Douchebag, how you doing?
Hey, Mr. Carl, how you doing?
Excellent.
Hey, that was awesome.
That-
Man, Lee is. See, I told you, Lee's a great YouTuber. He's awesome.
Yeah, I
love
think
listening to him
I already subbed to his site. In fact, let me okay, now that I'm off with Lee, I can go let me just double check while I got you on. Let's see. Let me see if I can get over to YouTube here.
Oh,
real
did
quick.
Amy D want to call? I forgot to give her a shout out. I'm sorry. Amy D, did you want to call?
Amy D, hey
I'm
Amy
sorry.
D, douchebag. Yep. What were they shooting those people up with the first? Okay. Let's see. Let me
I'm not sure.
let me just jump over to YouTube real quick. Let me make sure I'm subscribed to his site. So it's Lee. Let's see. I gotta get his name here out of the chat because it's a long.
You want
one.
me to throw up a link?
No,
in
no,
the
no,
chat?
no. I got it right here. I can just pull it back.
Oh, okay.
I can pull it right back here. Where is he? Is Tony?
But Carl, I didn't want to, because, I didn't want to interfere with, you guys talking. So I figured, hey, I'll just call back,
Yeah.
and I can communicate through
Okay.
the chat.
I
You
tell
know
you
what I
what.
mean?
I tell you what. Though next time I'm going to have that figured out. Where now, see the biggest problem is that he's coming.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming through. Remember, like I said, okay, when you think in my head, well, I didn't think long enough about it. So I'm going to tonight. What I'm going to do is I got two things to think about. One, I was catching a little bit of feedback delay in my own headset when I was talking to him. That solution I know that's a simple one. And then also I got to figure out a way that when you're on the phone, your phone call is coming through and it's coming through the mixer board, and then the video call is coming through the main mix. How to bring those two together so they're going at the same time, so there's no delay. Now I'll tell you right now, that one's going to take me a little bit to figure out. But that's okay. I've been challenging myself the whole time with this stuff, so it's been one challenge after another. Okay, see, so Lee at space Pure. There he is. I think I already subbed to his site. Let me double check.
Yeah, he's still in the chat. Hey, Lee.
Okay.
Hey, Lee. I hope to talk to you soon, brother. I love your commentary on everything, and you got a great channel, and I'll support you all the way, brother.
Let's see. I don't think I typed it up right. Okay, hold on. Let me get you here. I think I spaced it out. Let me see. Lee Pure Imagination Pure Imagination U space TV. Well, that should do it. Let's see. Lee Pure Imagination U space TV. So it's like there a space on that? Like is it Lee space Pure space Imagination space U space TV?
I don't think so. I know.
So subscribe to.
I don't
Lee.
know. I don't. Let me see if I could throw up a link in the chat.
Well, I got forbidden information, but I don't have Lee Pure Imagination.
Let me see. Let me see if I can throw up a link in the chat.
And I don't want to click on the chat from here because then that might screw up my stream. So let me see.
Oh wait, yeah, okay. There's Lee space Pure Imagination U space TV.
Oh, there's no space between Pure and Imagination, maybe?
No. Pure Imagination is one word according to what I'm looking at. It's one word.
So it's Pure Imagination space U space TV, or is it the whole thing one big stream?
No, it's Lee space Pure Imagination U is one word,
Okay.
and then space TV.
Okay,
yeah.
hold on.
At least that's what I'm seeing. Yeah.
Let's see. Let me try that. Oh, there he is. Got him.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
You subbed him? Good.
Good. Just
No, 'cause,
subscribe.
you know, Carl, I didn't want to. I mean,
just
you
got
know, man, I wanted to join you guys, but you know, I mean, I don't. You know, like it'd be hard for me to talk over, and then you know they can't hear you and Lee talking. So you know, I mean, and you know, and you guys.
I
go
will.
through the,
I
you
will
know, through
figure.
the process.
I will figure that out though. That's my project. It's, you know what? It's Friday night. I can stay up tonight. It's not a school day tomorrow, so I can stay up late tonight and figure this out.
Cool.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, no. You have you have no idea how many hours like I've done that. Like I'll be sitting here and I don't even realize. Next time I look up, it's 2:00 in the morning, and I go, oh, or 3:00 in the morning. Oh my God! But you don't when you're researching all this stuff and figuring all this stuff out, you don't even know the time going by because it's really challenging. And you know when you work on a challenging project, you just when you get into it. I mean, everything else around you just shut off, which is really cool. This is one of the reasons why I do this site is that it allows me to be able to shut off what I do during the day, because when I work construction, it was easy to shut it off and go home. You know, mentally.
Yeah.
But you know, the law.
Yeah.
That follows you where. I mean, literally, it follows you wherever you go. I mean, it just does. I mean, I mean, you always you're constantly thinking about your cases. You think about your clients. Think about okay, how are you going to win on this case? You'll come up with an idea. It's like quick, write it down, and you know, it's really cool. So you need something, but you have to be able to shut it off, or otherwise, after 25 years, you will go insane. Yeah. I mean, after 25 years of doing law, and you know, literally, you know, your every waking moment, if you don't find a way to turn it off, you will go insane. You know, then I'll be like, you know, I'll be like the great Carl's Opinion Insanity guy, live from the Nut House. Live from the Nut House. It's Carl's Opinion. You know, and then I'll be one of those guys that, yeah, Lee, I just, see, hold on, let me just write down. Let me just tell Lee I just subbed. So, you know, I tell you what, Mr. Douchebag, you know, the work you're doing, like spreading all this around and everything, and these conservative sites and everything, I mean, that's some really great work you're doing there. So I just want to let you know,
well,
man.
You know what's, thank you. You know what's interesting, too, is that I get a lot of, like, conservative sites that you know, like recommended in my news feed, you know.
Right.
So it's like I just sub them, you know, and it's like, you know, it's like probably more people are seeing them. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't really work the video angle. I work more the comment section angle, you know.
Right.
But you know, it's funny. YouTube's never, you know, I've never been, you know, they've never said anything, you know.
Well,
so
you know,
like,
no, let me tell you what. Let me give you an idea on this. As far as like, say, I mean, obviously you're out there trolling people, so you don't want your face out there because you know you're taking care of our enemies. But what you could do is like you can have your camera like I don't know if you have like a webcam or if you have like a camera on your phone, you can just have the camera pointed in a different direction. You know what I'm saying? So so that way, that's one way you're actually you're coming through the same audio, because I could do two additional cameras at once, me and two other people, right? So you can do it like if you see Google Hangouts, a lot of people just have a picture of themselves up, but like a still picture, you know, or you know their avatar, you know. So it's probably there's probably a way where you just have the camera pointed at the wall or like at a poster or some shit, you know, who knows, whatever. And then you're in the same you're in the same video, but you're not on camera. That way you can still go out and do your trolling and you know what you're doing to fight the good fight.
Yeah, you know what's interesting? I've had people tell me that my one-liners. I mean, you know, a one-liner's a one-liner, but my one-liners are not like the average one-liner. You know what I mean? It's not like some of those one-liners that are well known. You know, like that comedians have told. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, it's like my one-liners. You know, it's funny because the Trump parody guy was asking me about this, right? And some people in the comments on his site were asking, you know, like asking questions, and you know, and you know, basically sometimes like when I hear a phrase, I have an ability to turn a phrase, right, and use two words meaning the same thing. Like AOC believes, hopes, you know, she'd rather eat dinner than supper. You know, it means the same thing, but her ideology is she can't tell the difference between the two. You know,
right.
And then I have the just the plain dumb ones like, you know, AOC walks by a written exam to pass it, because that's the only way she knows how to pass it is by walking by it. You know?
Right.
or like take, you like Adam Schiff believes it's racist to make a pencil neck write with a marker, because pencil and marker, similar, they write.
Right.
Or like, let's say like AOC hopes Dish Network comes with a plate of food, I mean, I'm running these ideas through my head all the time, but at the same time, I keep it appropriate. I don't, the only time I make curses, I might use bastard a lot, or I might use ass, but I don't use the F word. I don't use, I'll use shit, but I don't use like really hardcore language, you know what I'm saying? Because, I try to keep it, because, anybody can curse and scream, but if you're going to be insulted, you got to be creative,
Mm-hmm.
And what's really funny is that, and if you ever notice this, right, whenever I make a comment, like I made a comment one time about how many liberals are finding themselves on a conservative fight, the classical liberals, not the far left.
Oh yeah, no, you're
liberals,
like your Dave Rubins, those kind of guys, classical liberals, and or Tim Pool for Tim Cast. Same thing with him. Yeah, he's fine. Like they say, the only way they can have a real debate is when they talk to conservatives because they don't get yelled and screamed at.
yeah, because and like some of my likes will get like 100, 150 likes. I've got a few likes that have over 1,000 likes.
Right, those are great comments.
These trolls, yeah. But you know what these trolls do is what they do is they go on the comments that have the most likes, right? Because that's where they see that those are getting the most attention, So that, they'll go in and they'll leave me stupid comments, but then I'll actually have people come to my defense. I will have people like, I remember this one guy wrote, what was it? He was like, God, you comment a lot. And then one guy came in and said, well, I got you to respond, didn't it? And people, I have to say this, Carl, but the great douchebag is probably more famous than I want the great douchebag to be. You know what I'm saying? I mean.
Well, no. If you're posting comments on a site and you're getting 1,000 likes, I mean that's like real shit. I mean, there's like that's really good. If you ever got around to not appearing on camera, you start your own channel, it'd probably go through the roof. I mean, you'd probably have a few thousand subs almost immediately as long as you just put on there. Hey, I'll do it for Lilo. Smoking, yes. Amy, yes, I'm smoking.
Oh man, Lilo's.
No, Lilo's not on, but Amy says she's gonna, because Lilo always puts the cigarette smoke in the coffin and the thing. So that's good.
Because Lilo, I miss Lilo. Lilo's cool. I like Lilo, but you know what, Carl? Lilo's awesome. Because. Like, we joke around. He knows we don't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? Like on Axel joke, Lilo's great. Lilo knows what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Just like I know what's going on. I know tons of Spanish people who know what's going on.
Oh yeah.
They don't even speak English.
Yeah. I mean, no, that's what I was trying to. I've said this so many times. You and I discussed it. Again, George W. Bush, 2004, 42% of the Hispanic vote goes to George W. Bush. I mean, it was right there. That number was only going to be going up. Then the Republicans fucked it up. I mean, they had it. Karl Rove to this day keeps yelling and screaming about it. 15 years later, he's still upset. He says we had them. Yeah, they were ours. Because what he said was, look, they're the same thing I say. They're natural Republicans. They just don't know it yet. Yeah. They're told by the Democrats, "Oh no, we're here to help you. Republicans want to get rid of you, and they hate you." It's like, no, we want free enterprise. We're pro-family. We want low taxes. We want small businesses. Well, there you go. That's majority of Hispanics. These people aren't risking their lives coming across the border, to get the promise of the Democrats for welfare. Now, when they get here and then somebody throws money at them. I mean, it's kind of hard to say no. I mean, we have the same problem in this country. I'm up here in Pahrump, and trust me, it goes across ethnic lines like crazy. I live in a town, 80%, Anglo, 80% white, and we have a welfare office. 75% of the people that get a free attorney are on some form of welfare. Family court cases. I mean, probably half the people in custody cases, DCFS cases, are on welfare. I see them all the time. But because when somebody says, here's some free money, excuse me, here's some free money. Some people have a hard time saying no to it. So we got to get away from is those people, not so much punishing the people taking the free money, but trying to get rid of the people who are offering them the free money. Try to get change the laws so there isn't like free money out there. And if there isn't free money out there, people will rise to the level that you set for them for expectations. Like you have to get a job, you got to work, start a business. People will rise to that level. Wait, excuse me a second.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's like you hear the stories too about like how say all these rich, it's a common story among wealthy families who have a Spanish maid. A lot of times they're not legal, and a lot of times, like say the husband has an affair with the maid. Well, the maid knows that if she gets pregnant by this guy, that he's gonna be responsible for taking care of her.
Right.
And sometimes he sets her up in a room. I'm just saying this is like a common story.
Right.
Sets her up in the room or sets her up in a house. Is paying the bills, and in return she keeps quiet. Well, the smart ones are the ones that keep quiet, but then there's the ones that get greedy and they want more and they want more. Then they expose themselves. Well, next thing you know, they could be finding themselves back in their own country without their kids. I mean, it's like. It's funny. I saw a comment one time, and it actually made a little bit of sense. Because you do have, you do have migrant families that come over and work hard. They don't get a handout, but they're few and far between.
Right.
And those kind of people could actually, and the comment was like, these people, would appreciate better than what the progressives, would appreciate. Boy, did he get a lot of likes, and boy, did he get a lot of hate from that comment. But in a way, it's kind of true, because you have these, when I say the progressives, I'm talking about the far left, the radical left, the Marxist leftists, right? They don't understand that capitalism is what lets them buy their $800 cell phones, their $25,000 or $30,000 car that they're driving, that they're probably making, less money, but living at home, and I'm like, they have the, like they're working hard, right? Okay. Yeah. Well, a part of them is in tune to what is happening, right?
Yeah.
But it's like that other side of the brain that doesn't connect with the side that understands that this is hard work and this is what's getting me,
Right.
And you have this entitlement mentality that, well, I deserve this because I'm a citizen. I mean, I've seen on radio shows where people who are born in this country, living on welfare their whole lives, say, well, I should get this money, before an illegal. I'm an American citizen, which, if they need that money and they use it for what they're supposed to use it for, yes. But if they're just, but if you got an illegal who's, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying, by no means do I support it, but if you got an illegal who's, using the money for what it's meant for, things like that, you know what I'm saying? Well, they're doing better than the person who's abusing it. That's
right.
a citizen,
right.
Even though they shouldn't be getting it.
No, I know. I see people up in my town, and again, it crosses ethnic lines. Again, I live in a town that's 80% Anglo / white, and trust me, these people abuse the hell out of it. They know how to work the system. 75% of the people who claim they have income who qualify for a public defender, a free attorney. I'm not exaggerating. I'd say 75%. It's anecdotal because it's what I see. 75% say they're on Social Security disability. Now, these are people out there committing crimes who are too, disabled to get a job to work, but they're not too disabled enough to go out and commit crimes. Or they're too disabled to get a job, but they're not too disabled to go buy drugs and score drugs. And then they got to they're not too disabled to steal stuff to buy those drugs. So, trust me, the abuse is right here. Now, if we could just stop people from offering, illegals free shit, then again, you're back to the system where people are coming across looking for work. Because if before most of the migrants coming across were single men, these guys weren't coming up here to get on welfare. They're guys, okay? They're men. I'm sorry, men. Generally, young men don't think about, I want to be on welfare. I don't care where you are. Young men, like, I want to get a job, and they come up here. There's plenty of work for them, and because the Republicans have always kept that E-Verify system from hitting the books, because Republicans want a lot of labor, they want cheap labor, they want slave labor, ultimately, right? They don't want they don't want to pay anybody anything. So they're encouraging them to come over here. So, but now all these Democrats have been telling them, hey, look, bring your family, and then guess what? You get to stay. So before it was like young men coming across, now it's like young men looking for some, hey, you want to be my wife? And, oh, you got a couple of kids? Oh, good, let's go. Now I know I can stay because you're staying, the kids are staying, we're all staying. And then, according to Lindsey Graham, he cited the study from Homeland Security, and since September, when the big influx started, since September, 92% of those migrant family members who have been released have not shown up for their deportation hearing. 92% have not shown up for their deportation hearing.
I mean, the only way, like, it's a sad situation, but like a lot of those women say, like, I mean, the only way, well, let's face it, the only way, like I'm just going to point out the different scenarios for like both, right? Let's say most men, the only way they're really going to ever be off the grid is if either they're homeless or, like they're bouncing around from place to place, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, they're probably picking up work where they can, doing whatever,
Right.
Some of the women may, like I said, it's a heartbreaking situation, but, a lot of these women, in order to stay off the grid, maybe they hook up with a guy that they don't like, or they're literally like just, sleeping with somebody just to have a place to stay, and they risk getting pregnant, because they don't have access to getting birth control pills because they're afraid if they go to a pharmacy, the pharmacy might deport them, or call, what I'm saying, call ICE,
Right.
Because, because you can't just go in, you got to have some form of ID that you need. Well, I don't know about that, but I've heard some places you got to get ID to get birth control pills, and, they take your information and stuff like that down, But, sometimes these people, and it's something like Tony said, and I agree with what Tony said. If I was in their situation, I'd probably I know I'd be doing the same thing that they're doing, So, my heart goes out to them, but we cannot absorb the third world. We just can't, I don't see these progressives, volunteering, opening their wallets or sending up GoFundMe. I mean, there was that one guy who did, I forget his name, and I commend him for it. The guy's putting his money where his mouth is, He set up a GoFundMe. It's for, illegal families. Okay, cool. I commend the guy for putting his money where his mouth is.
Well, yeah, see, that's the whole thing. Like if you want, as a private citizen, and other private citizens want to form charities, and they want to, give their own money, I mean, just don't be generous with my money. Just don't say, we want to use tax dollars, which is all of our money, to pay for these people. If you believe in it, then use your own money. And who the hell has a problem with that? That's fine. Go for it. It's your money, man. You earned it. You're paying taxes on it. If you want to use your own money to set up a GoFundMe or a charity to help illegals, and people who are donating to that charity know exactly what it's for, like, hey, this is a charity to help illegal aliens, and you put it out there, and then people, whatever reason, give a bunch of money. Well, okay, whatever. If you want to pay for it, who the hell would I don't have a problem with that. Nobody does. But don't ask the rest of us to pay for something you believe in. Maybe I don't believe in that. I don't want to pay for it.
Exactly.
And don't force me to pay for it. The whole thing.
Yeah. And I commend, and and there are some liberals who will put their money where their mouth is, and I got a hell of a lot more respect for those than just go out, whine and bitch and complain all the time.
Right.
It's like that one football, not to change the subject, but it's like that one football player. Trump said, give me a list of people you found, you think were wrong, and I'll let people look into it. There was maybe one or two of them that took him up on his offer, right?
Oh, yeah.
I commend those two, but yet all these other athletes are kneeling for the flag. I mean, get up off your butts and do something. Use your freaking wealth to get into these communities. Advocate for the stuff that you believe in. If you want to help illegal immigrants,
illegal or anything, like say illegal immigration, or you think like, hey, these, like say a black football player thinks, hey, black people in the inner city, get a raw deal by having a public defender represent them. Okay, you and 50 other guys who are making zillions of dollars a year get together, pick 10 cities, and then set up like little private law firms that do criminal defense work on a for free. It's real simple. You don't have to go look for the clients. You go to the courthouse and you see some guy getting appointed a public defender. You walk in and say, "Hi, Your Honor, we'll take this. We're taking it pro bono. We're taking it for free." And trust me, the public defender is like, "Yeah, man, here you go." That's one less case for him to handle. So it's like pick 10 cities, pick 5 cities. I don't care. And then staff it. Real good attorneys though, not guys fresh out of law school. You might as well get a public defender. Not guys fresh out of law school. And actually, I'm doing public defender work right now. But I'm a guy like that's really freaking good. But I mean, so you don't want to first year a lawyer. Get like a guy 5 years, 10 years in, guy that's worked the system. A guy that's you're going to say, hey, this isn't some bullshit job. You're going to come in here and work your ass off. Find guys like that. They'll come in and you can pay them, and they'll work their asses off. And there you go. Then you can stop saying, oh, people in the inner city get ripped off by public defenders. Fine, go put together some law firms and staff them with some good people and some staff, and buy a cheap little building, in some crappy part of the city where I don't know, these people who are going through the criminal justice system live. Do that. I mean, don't stop talking. Start. It's really easy to be generous with other people's money. Be generous with your own money instead of having all the bling and the cars and everything else. Hey, man, again, get 100 guys. You each give in like say, I don't know, $1 million a year, $100 million, or $2 million. That's $200 million. Pick 5 cities. That's $40 million. $40 million a year for a budget for a law firm. Inside like say Baltimore, St. Louis, Detroit, Lansing. Philadelphia. Pick a city. It doesn't matter. And do that. But don't sit there and say, I'm going to kneel for the flag because, I think the criminal justice system is stacked against black people, and then don't do a damn thing about it. Reach into your wallet. Pull some money out. And take care of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like these guilty white liberals are always, it's like, for another example too, right? It's like these guilty white liberals will say, well, having voter ID suppresses the minority vote. Well, you know what? I'm half Latin, and I have my ID on me all the time, because if I don't, I could get pulled over for driving without a license. I got to have license to buy liquor, and I'm like, why don't they, get some of these people down to the DMV to get their license? Pay for them,
Okay,
but
first of all, okay, I'm not going to sit there and say, hey, I know black people. Here's a picture of a black person I know, and pull a picture out of my wallet. But I know a lot of black people. I've known a lot of black people my whole life. Okay, I've never met a black person who didn't have a form of ID. Okay, I don't think those people really exist. Okay, I think that's a bunch of bullshit. Okay, I don't know anybody of any ethnicity that doesn't have some form of ID. You don't need a driver's license. All you need is you get a state government issued ID. Really simple. It costs like $5 in most states, like if that much. And you don't have to take a driving test because it's not a driver's license. It's a state ID. In fact, I remember back in the 90s, a bank I was with was having problems, and they wanted 2 good forms of ID. And so I got 2 picture IDs out of my driver's license, and I went down to the DMV and I got a state ID card. So now I had 2 picture IDs. And there's no test. You just got to show your birth certificate or whatever the hell it is, and say, here I am, and give me an ID. And they take a picture and they give you a state ID, and that's good enough for voting. That's good enough for voting.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like what is it? It's like, it's also too, like, like one of the other arguments the left loves to do is, well, you get pulled over and then, you're fighting the cops because they're asking you for ID and they're asking you for vehicle registration. And then it's like, they want to make it out like, people of color are getting pulled over and they're getting harassed by the cops because, oh yeah. Well, a lot of times if you're resisting an officer, you have something to hide. I mean, it's a simple fact. I mean, whenever an officer of the law is approaching me, it's yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, because I want to go on about my business. I got other things to do. And a lot of times, I mean, you meet some cops. Don't get me wrong, you meet some cops that are power trip and all that, you know. But a lot of times you have to understand where they're coming from, you know, because I've had cops that have been like complete, just treat me like I'm dirt, but then, let me go. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, I can understand from their point of view.
Well,
because,
look. Some cops are just cops because they can't get a job doing anything else. Okay, sometimes that's just the case, and some cops are really good cops. But you're right. You can't make a blanket generality because some cops are just, and then some cops are just really dumb, and they try to make up. They try to make up for being dumb by being tough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like oh, here we go. Perfect example. The analogy is like when you argue with somebody who's stupid and they don't have a good point, so they start yelling and screaming, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with cops. Some cops are just really stupid, and so instead of instead of using the way they cover for that is just by being tough, too tough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they know they're dumb, and they know know. And what's worse is they know they're dumb. So it's just like that. So I mean, you have good cops, you have bad cops, you have in between cops. You have good attorneys, bad attorneys, in between attorneys. Trust me, I know that for sure. I've seen good attorneys, bad attorneys, in between attorneys. So every profession, you get guys who show up. It's like I was talking like with Amy the other night because of my own personal experience, like nurses. There are people who are nurses because the economy was bad and the healthcare industry was the only thing moving up in hiring during the Obama depression. So you had people, who didn't have a job, who just became nurses, got the little financial aid, went to nursing school, took the test, became a nurse. You have people who became nurses who have no business being nurses. They never wanted to be a nurse. They never wanted to care for people, let alone they caring for sick people. They have no empathy. They have no sympathy. They have no compassion. They don't have a good work ethic, but they got a steady paycheck, and that's it.
Yeah.
Trust me, I ran into that experience recently, like 2-3 months ago. It was no fun.
Yeah.
And these people, I'm talking just from 30 years ago. The level of care nurses provide in hospitals is shit, and most of the nurses are shit. Okay, and they're stupid, and they're dumb, and they suck. Okay, they suck. Period. I'd say 90% of the nurses I ran into in a hospital situation just a couple of months ago were shit. I'm talking. I'm not exaggerating. Not exaggerating. 90% of the nurses I ran into were shit.
Yeah. They lower the standards for like what they have to learn. They cut out certain things that they used to require, now they don't, and they make it easier for them to graduate, to get some kind of to get their nursing degree, I mean, let's face it, what they teach, like nowadays, like in some medical schools, they don't really teach, and they've loosened up some of the laws and, the requirements, and things like that. And I mean, it's so easy. Like, for example, like a doctor who's doesn't have malpractice insurance, right? And a doctor who, some doctors won't perform certain surgeries, but then you have a doctor who's willing to do this, but then, the guy's like, they'll make you sign a waiver. Hey, look, I don't have this, if this goes wrong, it's not my fault, but sometimes people with no money, are forced into situations like that because they can't, you get a doctor who won't operate, because a lot of people, let's face it, we live in a sue-happy country, any little thing that people want to sue, I mean, it's like, you tell somebody, hey, I'm having a bad day, have a good day, and have a bad day, they want to sue, but it's like, they don't really, it's like everything else in our country, they lowered the standards for, what it takes to get a good paying job, and then you get people, it's like some of these customer service jobs, like when you call into a customer service number, and occasionally you get people who want help, but sometimes like people don't want to be bothered with you, they don't want to. They don't want to route your call. They don't want to,
Yeah, and they have no business being in that line of work. They have no business being in customer service. And like I just put in the chat to put in the chat to Amy. Oh yeah, Amy, that's right. That's right. Amy worked with a bunch of lawyers, but if you're in a business like say an attorney, law enforcement, nursing, even answering the phone, like you work for Amazon, you answer the phone. If you're not a people person, okay, and you don't want to, you don't like helping people, okay, you have no business being in all of those professions I just mentioned. Okay, because ultimately, because you're dealing with people. I mean, unless you're like say you're like one of those attorneys who, like, you're a great researcher, and they stick you in the back. You're the one who writes briefs. You do the appeals. You know, you do appellate work. You really don't have to deal with clients that much because you're not dealing with factual. You're not testifying in court. Somebody already did that. You know, somebody already went to trial, whether it's a criminal case or a civil case, and they either won it and the other side's appealing, or you guys lost it, and then you're the guy who's going to do the appeal. Well, that person doesn't really have to have any people skills at all. In fact, that person doesn't have to care about anybody because he doesn't have to meet with the client before the trial and prepare him for the trial, or in a civil case even, meet with him before a deposition, talk to him on the phone, you know, deal with him when he has to fill out interrogatory questions and stuff like that. The appellate guy is looking at transcripts. He's looking at transcripts of the trial, and he's reading them. He doesn't even see anybody. And so he's the guy you stick in the room, and he's a researcher, and he's a great writer. And then the only time maybe he has to talk to somebody is when he goes up and talks to members of the Supreme Court. Well, good news for him is most of those people are not persons either. Okay, they're Supreme Court justices. They don't like dealing with people either, so they get along. You know, they're kind of like nerds. They're like that guy. So you know, so that's it. But you know, but if you're an attorney and you're doing any kind of trial work, or you're doing any kind of, you know, where you're in the courthouse a lot, you're dealing with, like, you know, judges and clerks and staff and whatever, you better be the kind of guy that can go to a bar and strike up a conversation with the person next to you. And if you're not that kind of a person, then you shouldn't be in law enforcement. You shouldn't be an attorney. You shouldn't be in the medical field. You know, I mean, you just shouldn't be there. Now, like certain doctors, like surgeons. Well, surgeons really don't have to be people, you know, persons either. You know, because they're like, you know, that's the general practitioner. That's the guy over here. You know, I had to deal with a surgeon recently, and this guy really not a people person, but he knew his shit backwards and forwards, and he was kind of an asshole. He kind of reminded me of myself. He was kind of like, you know, like a dick. But I really admired that, because you would ask him a question, and he would just tell you, like, the answer, and it was an answer you may not want to hear. But he just gave you the freaking answer. And it was like, oh, he was the only guy that was honest. I mean, everybody else was full of shit except for this guy. And this guy was kind of a dick. But I could tell this guy really knew his stuff. And it turned out I was right. And I'm like, wow. Yeah. You know, but he no bedside manner. I mean, but that's not his job. You know, his job is like, you know, you're wheeling in. The only time you really got to talk to him was like before the surgery, you know, and then after the surgery, because when he's working on you, you're under anesthesia, so he can do whatever the hell he wants. You know, he doesn't have to talk to anybody. So you know, so there you go. You know,
well, it's like back in the day. It's like back in the day when I trained in martial arts. You know, the person who puts me in a body cast is the person I want to learn from. You know, because that's who's gonna, help me improve my technique and my overall, ability in the martial arts. You know, I mean, it's a little silly to talk like that, but that's how you do it. You know, that's how you get better, is by, being around people who've been doing it better. You know, I mean, it's like I make jokes like how I studied to be the world's greatest douchebag, and I'm like, it doesn't take that much. You just got to be a bit of a wise ass, which is what I am, is a wise ass.
Right.
You know, I don't really have a talent for, I don't really have a talent for Axel's kind of humor, but I do have a talent for humor along the lines of being a wise ass. You know? Yeah, no,
I'll be honest with you, I've always liked that kind of humor, because it's kind of like it's like when Mike Lee did that when he's making fun of Ocasio-Cortez's Green New Deal in the Senate. It was real dry, but that's why it was so funny. It was real dry, and it was just straight. You know, he played it straight all the way through, and it was fucking hilarious. Ocasio-Cortez probably didn't think it was funny, and some of the Democrats having to listen to it probably didn't think it was funny. But everybody else in the rest of the country, whoever saw it, thought it was fucking hilarious. You know, so I've always liked that kind of dry humor. I've always liked that.
Well, it's what's interesting is that when it's almost like Congress is a comedy show anymore. It's like AOC. She has more hand gestures than a puppet.
She's constantly moving. I know. Well, she talks with her hands probably because, the brain, isn't getting to the mouth, and so she has to do something.
Yeah.
You know, so
Well,
I mean,
the body language. Oh, go ahead.
no. I was just saying, you know, she has to. She feels like when somebody who talks with their hands a lot is like they feel like that nobody's understanding them. You know, because their words
Mhm.
aren't. They know their words aren't making a lot of sense. So they figure if they throw some hand gestures in there, it's like when you're talking to someone who speaks a foreign language, and for some reason you feel the need to yell and use hand gestures,
Mhm.
and which makes it only worse. It's like that's like her. She knows she's speaking a foreign
Yeah.
language because nobody understands what the hell she's talking about. So she figured if I throw some hand gestures
Yeah.
in there, I mean, she's probably been doing that her whole life. I guarantee
Mhm.
it.
Well, oh yeah. I mean, because there's a few things with that. Like, because I know sometimes people who are really nervous talk with their hands like that because it kind of, for some reason, it calms them down. I don't know why, but I've heard that it calms them down, you know, a little bit. But two, that comes with habit because, you know, I myself do that a little bit, you know, with my hands. You know, it's just, I don't know. It just seems like some people, I mean, it's normal with some people, you know, just, you know, so you see some people talking and they're moving their hands and in certain ways when you're trying to emphasize a point, you know, like the most common hand gesture is the hand going out like you want something, you know, that's one of the most common hand gestures. The other common hand gesture is the thumb on two fingers, you know, that's a common hand gesture as well, you know, but I think sometimes people do that when they're nervous, you know, they're nervous or, you know, and, you know, that's where the term puppet comes from, pretty much. You know, they're a
Right.
puppet because they move their hands all the time they talk, you know, especially these politicians, you know. And, oh, sorry, excuse me. You know, and then you have, and then you also have the, you know, like Obama, when you watch him talk, he always pointed with the finger. He always had that middle finger, I mean, the index finger up, and he pointed, well, we're going to do this. And he's, you know, like, you know, hand comes back and he's down, all the down. You know, that's something a dictator does a lot
Right.
of times.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Well, you
I
know,
mean,
he was a socialist, so you know, dictatorship and socialism kind of go literally hand in hand. There you go.
oh yeah. Well, I mean, everybody knows that the Obamas are the ones that really run the Democrat Party. I mean, the Clintons are, you know, basically the front, but the Obamas run the Democrat Party behind the scenes. You know, we all know this. Anybody who's been paying attention for the last 8, 9 years know this. You know,
Right.
you know, Obama had the chance to be one of the greatest presidents in history. You know, I mean, you
Yeah.
know, I mean,
It was right.
history's going to judge him, obviously.
It was. He could have been the right guy at exactly the right time. It's
Yeah,
amazing. It was right there for him, and he blew it.
yeah,
He blew it on, but he blew it on
yeah.
purpose. I mean, see that's the thing about him. We all wanted him to be what he could have been, and we weren't looking at him
Mhm.
like who he really was. You know,
Yeah,
that's the problem.
yeah.
You know, we were like
Well,
all like, oh
mhm.
yeah, this guy. He when he said this, he meant this. Well, no, he was actually saying. I mean, I don't think he ever. I don't think he ever said anything specifically to like deceive people. He was telling us who he was. I mean, his book laid it all out. But we were just
Yeah,
like saying, "Oh, he means this," and somebody next to you would say, "Oh, he meant that," and we were all like hearing
yeah.
somehow what we wanted him to be saying, but he wasn't saying that. He
Mhm.
was saying what he wanted to say, and we just weren't like listening correctly. I don't know. All I know is he's
Mhm.
really good at it because he had me going
Yeah.
too. So anyway,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I mean, I voted for the guy.
Well,
I voted for the guy twice. So I mean, he really
yeah.
had me going, and I don't know where. I mean, then now I look back and I go, what the hell was I thinking about? I mean, what the shit? I mean, I don't know, but
Well, you know what's interesting is that when you watch Obama, I mean, obviously we all know he's a puppet of Soros because Soros bankrolled him heavily.
right,
But there seemed to be things that Obama was hesitant to do that Soros wanted him to do. You know, like, you know, Obama, I mean, Obama ended the wet foot, dry foot policy for the Cubans coming from Cuba. I think he turned away the Haitian. I mean, I know we talked about this yesterday, but
yeah,
you know, he turned away the Haitians in droves. You know, and I don't know if maybe that was because he had the intention of bringing in over, you know, because, you know, it's like Soros wanted him to bring in a ton of refugees from the Middle East, and Obama brought some, but it didn't seem like he wanted to bring in the amount that Soros wanted. It's almost like Obama resisted a little bit, you know, in certain things, you
right.
know. Now, why I don't know. I mean, we don't know.
That could be. I mean, yeah, we don't know. You know, but I think. Well, at the end of the day, Obama's a politician, and so he knew there were certain things that the American people just weren't going to go for. You know, like he could do. He was doing things through the Code of Federal Regulations by passing regulations, all really well under the radar. And of course, he had the media covering for him and not publishing things they should have been publishing. You know, like if I have to go get a new air conditioning unit now, it just went from 2,500 to 8,900 in a blink of an eye. Because now instead of just buying the outside unit, you got to buy the inside unit too. Because the new outside unit, because of his environmental thing that he, whatever bullshit he put into effect in July of 2016, the new unit you have to buy for the outside is more expensive, and it shoots at higher pressure. So the pressure is too high for the inside unit. And so now you got to buy the inside unit also. So instead of just picking up like 2,000, 2,500, replacing the outside unit, you got to replace the outside unit with a new outside unit and replace the inside unit, which is real expensive. Another $6,500. So I mean, he did stuff like that, and the media covered for him. Didn't print a lot. They said, "Oh, scandal free." Well, no, just the media didn't like go deep diving into his scandals. You know, if the media had gone deep diving into his scandals, trust me, it would have not been a scandal-free administration.
Well, Obama hated Fox News. I mean, I know he called out Fox News a few times. You know, it's kind of funny because that's kind of where I don't necessarily 100% agree with Derek Grayson, where he says Fox News is no hero. Yeah, we all know Fox News is no hero, but I think they allow, you know, just for specific ratings reasons, they allow people like Hannity and Pirro because they both attract, and, you know, Ingram as well, because all of them attract a huge number of conservative viewers, you know. So I think that's probably one of the reasons why they kind of, you know, tolerate that, because, you know, you do have to have opposition to what the left is doing, you know. But I think sometimes Hannity goes a little bit more than what the left really wants him to go, you know what I mean? Because, you know, Hannity's a known Trump supporter, you know, so is Pirro. But when you have sometimes, you know, like when you have these, you know, like, but, you know, like you were saying with the media, you know, and it's like, you know, they never really covered a lot of the regulations Obama was cutting back on. Like, Obama destroyed the coal industry, you know, and, you know, he based, you know, so that's the greatest weapon these globalists have, is the environment. That is the one that if you were to take away that one thing that the globalists use to try and, you know, put a cap on regulations, they wouldn't have anything. They would have nothing, you know. I mean, yeah, granted, yeah, I want to live on a clean planet too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you have no way of knowing, you know, like history. We've only been recording history of the weather for like what, I think about maybe 100 years, 200 years. I mean, yeah, they have things on record, hurricane, but they didn't really start understanding things until like, you know, the weather, I think, was until about maybe the 1920s or 30s, I think.
Right.
I mean, you know, yeah, they had, I mean, with machinery anyway, you know. But we really have no way of knowing, you know, oh, yeah, climate change. Okay, gee, it gets hot in the summer, it gets cold in the winter, you know. But, I mean, you know, yeah, we want to live on a clean planet too, you know. But at the same time, you know, these climate scientists are like, well, you know, like AOC, you know. I mean, she sure as hell ain't no scientist, you know. Neither am I, but, you know, I think, but I have, you know, I'm able to look at what is BS and what isn't BS, you know.
Right.
It's like, you know, they say all this carbon pollution is putting a hole in the ozone layer and yada yada. Okay, well, you know, how bad is it? You know, show me is this as bad as you say it is? You know, is you know, how, I mean, where are these holes at? You know.
Right.
And,
well,
and how do we know that these
I tell you what, douchebag, I'm gonna break my rule from the other night. I'm gonna try calling two numbers that called in. And
oh yes. I'm sorry.
No. Stop! Don't be sorry. Shut up. But no, I'm gonna call these two numbers, and we'll see what they have to say.
All right, cool. I'll see you back in the chat.
All right, man. I'll see you in the chat. If they go south, I'll call you back.
Okay. All right. Cool. Awesome.
All right. Later, man. All right. Bye bye.
All right. Bye.
Hello. Please state your name after the tone, and Google Voice will try to connect you.
This is Carl. Not answering. We'll go to area code 5. I'm going to call 587 right now.
The TextNow subscriber you are trying to reach is not available. Please leave your message after the
All right. Well, we tried 2 calls that called in, and see, that was Dinosaur Club. So let's just write a message back to him. Up there he is. Is this Dinosaur Club?
Hi guys, how's it going?
Going good. What's up? You're on Carl's Opinion.
Oh no, not too much. I'm having a sleepover here with my buds, and we're just watching. Country. You know, I'm only 9, but I've seen a lot of stuff happening, so I just wanted to see on your stream. And I'm sorry if it's not right, but I just want to say USA, USA, USA. Let's make America great again, guys. Take that, Mrs. Johnson's class.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for calling, man. Have a good one.
Yeah. Also, we should turn the attention to that caterpillar on the top of your lips there. It's looking a bit scraggly. Let's make that mustache good again.
Wait, hold on. What was that last thing you just said? I'm sorry, I missed it. All right. Well, thanks for the advice. You have a good one. All right. Bye-bye. Well, that was kind of a 50-50 phone call. I will call it a 50-50 phone call. So 50% being it was 50% kind of funny and 50% kind of stupid. So there you go. But anyway, well, we got to try. You know, it's a live call-in show. We got to give it a shot. So there you go. But anyway, look at this story. I heard this on the way home today, and now it's funny if you look at this picture. Let me see if I can. Let me make this a little bit bigger here. Hold on. Let's see what I can do to where I don't lose the picture on this. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. Yep, I'm gonna lose the picture. But yeah, there's like the picture. There's Joe Biden, and you can see like how he's kind of looking at her. You know, it's just really creepy. I mean, you can tell she's on the menu. You know what I mean? He's looking at her like, I want that. You know, she's young. You know, she's got the long hair going, and he's thinking like, yeah, she's on the menu, man. I want that. And so let me scroll through this. Let me scroll through this article right here. But yeah, I mean, just look at him. He looks like, you know, he's let's see. Let's see. I would. Biden is a racist. Biden's weird, man. He's like strange. But remember, he sunk his campaign when he first ran back in, what year was that? Was that 2000 he ran? I think it was 2000. Or it might have been 1992. Can't remember which one. But remember, he claimed his father was a coal miner. Well, I actually went to Wilmington, Delaware, and met with a friend of mine out there, and he showed me the car dealership that Joe Biden's father used to own. He owned a car dealership in Wilmington, Delaware, and he never worked in the coal mines a day in his life. But he plagiarized that story from that British MP, where he told the story about his father working in the coal mines and stuff. And so, he plagiarized that, and that's pretty much what sunk him back then. I mean, he just straight out, he stole somebody else's life story, and then he said it's mine. And the funny thing was, Wilmington's Delaware itself is a small state, but Wilmington's a very small city. I mean, it's a city, but it's small. And everybody knows it seems like everybody knows everybody, especially people who engage in any kind of politics. They all know the families, and, it's not I think I drove across the whole place, I think you drive from one end to the other maybe in like 25 minutes. I mean, it's not big, So, and the neighborhoods were real small, the real small houses, even the big houses were small. The streets are real small, like your typical old-fashioned East Coast, city. And so everybody in Wilmington, Delaware, Wilmington primarily, knew Joe Biden, knew his family and everything. And, like the pool he talked about when he was a lifeguard, this friend of mine was like, yeah, he said they used to hang out at that pool all the time. Everybody did. So when he made the story about his dad being a coal miner, and, he was the son of a coal miner, and everybody looked around to themselves like, wait a second. No, man, I just bought a car from his dad like, a few years ago. So, to sit there and just blatantly lie, and make up something that could be so easily fact-checked. I mean, I don't care if the internet wasn't big at the time at all, but, you could fact-check that story in 10 seconds. All you had to do was go to Wilmington, ask a few guys, hey, was Joe Biden's dad a coal miner? Say, no, man, he owns that dealership it's like right over there, and just point to it. Say, look, man, it's right there. So, the guy's just not very bright. Obama put him on the ticket. I don't think he added anything to the ticket for President Obama. I don't think he got him a single vote. I really don't. I don't think he added anything. I think he put somebody on the ticket that it was one of those do no harm kind of persons. Like, okay, I'll pick him. He ran. He wasn't even close, but he ran in 2008. He lost, obviously lost, lost big. But figured, well, I'm not going to put Clinton on the ticket for a number of obvious reasons. And so, well, I got to find a white guy. So I guess I'll put him on the ticket, So he did. But, the guys, here's the thing about Biden. Obama has not endorsed him. And the word on the street, I always like that saying, so I'm going to use it. The word on the street is Obama is not going to endorse him until after, like, if he won, then it'd be like, obviously he'd endorse it, but a big deal. He'd endorse any Democratic nominee. So, Obama's not going to endorse him. And because Obama probably thinks he's kind of a weirdo also, and probably doesn't trust him. So, so that's been the big holdup for Biden getting into the race. And I think that was the big holdup for him getting into 2016. It wasn't just Hillary Clinton with her money and the super delegates lined up, and the fact that she was really buddy with the Congressional Black Caucus. Because if Obama had come out and endorsed Biden during the primary, which would have been allowed, there would have been nothing untoward about that, because he was his VP. He's like, yeah, hey, I'm endorsing my VP. I think he'd be great. He wouldn't endorse Biden. Biden knew that. It's probably one of the big reasons why Biden didn't run it in 2016. And now he's waiting around for this endorsement from Obama, and I don't think he's going to get it. So, and that speaks volumes, because it's one thing if you thought Joe Biden wasn't asking for it. They'll have some statement like, oh, I talked to the president. I said, I don't want you to endorse me. I want you to endorse the nominee. He'll say some stupid bullshit like that. But he's been seeking out that endorsement. And then they ran that story a while back where Obama was meeting with Beto O'Rourke. Well, and then, of course, the Obamas are close friends with Kamala Harris. So Biden's kind of out there on his own, but, So if the president, who this guy worked with for 8 years, won't endorse you, well, that says volumes for who you are. That you're not maybe worth talking to. You're not worth, you're not worth giving the nomination to. But anyway, let's check this story out. Let me reduce this back down again. There we go. All right, so let's take a look at the story. So Lucy Flores from Nevada. Hey, I mean, I don't remember this woman at all, so it must have not been anybody I cared about or anything. But Lucy Flores, a former Nevada legislator, I think she was a state senator, makes claim in first-person article in New York Magazine. Wait, hold on. Anyway, Lucy Flores spoke at a 2014 event in Las Vegas as then Vice President Joe Biden looked on. Ms. Flores has accused Mr. Biden of inappropriately kissing her. So, by Ken Thomas we're on the Wall Street Journal. So, a former Democratic legislator from Nevada on Friday accused Joe Biden of inappropriately kissing the back of her head before a political event in 2014 while she was running for lieutenant governor. Lucy Flores wrote in a first-person account for New York Magazine. That's a liberal magazine, by the way. Just to let you know. So, well, it's a leftist magazine, so that may say something also. The left isn't the far left is not pushing for Joe Biden. Okay, they're not. But anyway, Lucy Flores wrote in a first-person account for New York Magazine that Mr. Biden, the former VP and potential 2020 presidential candidate, this is really cool. What she writes here. This is really weird. Approached her from behind, touched her shoulders, smelled her hair, and kissed the back of her head. She wrote that he made me feel uneasy, gross, and confused, and all icky. Mr. Biden's office said in a statement that he was, I like this is total bullshit. Mr. Biden's office said in a statement that he was pleased to support Ms. Flores' candidacy and speak on her behalf at the public event. Neither then nor in the year since did he or the staff with him at the time have an inkling that Ms. Flores had been at any time uncomfortable, nor do they recall what she described. I like it. This is weird, because he's not saying, oh, there's no way in hell I did that. I never reached up, grabbed her shoulders, smelt her hair, and kissed her on the back. It's like, you kind of remember that. But they say, nor do they recall what she describes. What the hell does that mean? That's called one of those non-denial denials. Mr. Biden's office said he believes that then here we go. Here's the Me Too movement line you have to give. Mr. Biden's office said he believes that Ms. Flores has every right to share her own recollection and reflections, and that it is a change for better in our society, that she has the opportunity to do so. He respects Ms. Flores as a strong and independent voice in our politics and wishes her only the best. And then his office said, and then you see this picture over here. There's Biden there taking a picture for later, for later viewing pleasure. Joe Biden took a selfie with Lucy Flores at a 2014 rally. So there's him like, I'll take this picture for later, so I can have you in my thoughts. Yeah, he's kind of a weird guy, man. It's like, Christ. I wonder if his wife knows how weird he is. I mean, I'm sure she has to. I mean, there's no way. But okay, so let's continue on with the story. In an interview Friday night, Ms. Flores said she hadn't heard from Mr. Biden or members of his staff since the publication of her essay. Asked if she felt Mr. Biden should apologize, Ms. Flores said he could have, quote-unquote, done a better job to acknowledge that if he had acted this way, he acknowledged how that could have made him feel. How that could have made me feel. Sorry, which she's talking in first person. Second person. Maybe that's first person. Okay. Mr. Biden, 76 years old, has been weighing entering the Democratic primary field. Ms. Flores, 39 years old, almost 40 years, his junior, served as a top surrogate in her home state for Bernie Sanders' presidential campaign in 2016. She ran for Congress in 2016 and was defeated in a primary. She said in the interview that she hasn't yet decided which candidate she will support in the 2020 presidential campaign, but she planned to attend an El Paso, Texas rally on Saturday for former Democratic Representative Beto O'Rourke. In her account in the magazine, which appeared online Friday, Ms. Flores wrote that she recalled thinking at the time, why is the Vice President of the United States smelling my hair? That's not kind of the question you get all the time. It's that's a question for you. She asked herself at the time this is happening, why is the Vice President of the United States smelling my hair? He proceeded to plant a big, slow kiss on the back of my head. My brain couldn't process what was happening. I was embarrassed. I was shocked. I was confused. Even if his behavior wasn't violent or sexual, it was demeaning and disrespectful, she added. In her account, Ms. Flores said she had spoken to a male friend who was in Mr. Biden's orbit and said he, quote-unquote, made me question myself and wonder if I was doing the right thing, and told her that her credibility would be attacked. Huh. So, I guess Ms. Flores spoke to someone in Mr. Biden's orbit, probably like a staff member. She's not mentioning who it was, but this guy was trying to dissuade her from saying anything. And the way he said it to her was, he made me question myself and wonder if I was doing the right thing, and told her, this is the important part, that her credibility would be attacked. Meaning that, hey, look, he's not going to lay down on this one. He's going after you. Is he great? Yeah. Yeah, they do. His wife is an elementary teacher. Oh, no shit. Okay, Cristobal Alex, an advisor to Mr. Biden, wrote in a statement that he was the person she referenced, but disputed her characterization of their conversation. Mr. Alex said he had told her he was sorry and concerned for her, but what she remembered did not match my recollection or what was in the photos taken of the event. Mr. Alex said he felt sucker punched by her essay and that she had misrepresented their conversation. I was with Lucy before, during, and after the rally. I had no idea that she felt this way until her call a few weeks ago. Excuse me a sec. Lucy should absolutely share her story, but please don't misrepresent me, Mr. Alex said. So there you go. That's an interesting story. Yeah, I think so. So let's jump over here. Yep, there I am. All right. There's a couple of the stories I did want to cover tonight. Again, the call lines are open. Area code 775-273-8970. Again, that's 775-273-8970. And if you want to appear on that video call that you saw Lee do earlier, send me an email to ca2jogger. Amy, I'm looking at you. ca2jogger@gmail.com. But, and then you can appear side by side like Lee did on a live vMix video production phone call. Just think, you can tell all your friends. You were the first to appear, well, not the first, but the first among your friends to appear on a live vMix video phone call. Okay, got a phone call coming in. Let's see who this is. Area code 805, you're on with Carl. This is Carl. Very good. Who's this? Okay, Sean, what can I do for you tonight? Okay. So, hold on. All right, so we got Sean from New Zealand on. So, yeah, you're a live streamer. You have a YouTube channel. What's the name of the YouTube channel?
Start. I'm actually doing a 90-day, 24-hour stuffed pool house live stream.
What kind of a live stream is that?
I'm sort of like living in this pool house, and I'm slowly building it better and better as time goes on. You know what I mean?
No, I actually, when you say like a poor house, what do you mean? Explain that.
It's like a pool house, like an indoor pool. It's like kind of scuffed, you know.
Oh, hey, turn down your laptop in the back because it's coming through.
Yeah, no worries, dude. No, I've got a streaming setup. I've got multiple cameras and everything, and I like your setup, dude. It looks really cool. Like, what do you use, bro?
I advertise this all the time because I love these guys, and they're going to be at the National Association of Broadcasters in Las Vegas on April 8th. vMix Video Production.
Yeah, because it's terrible, bro. The things that are just like the climate of things going on in New Zealand at the moment with the devastation going on there. Like we just lost a lot of people in one of our craziest situations that we had.
Yeah, we've been following that over here, and my big concern is that people kind of rush into, oh, quick, we gotta get rid of the guns. It's like, well, slow down.
Yeah, people are
take a
rushing
breath.
to these assumptions because the media is going there, but I think we as the people will still be able to actually bear guns, just like you guys. Like we are kind of like a free nation, like you guys in a way, but we're just as like held back by our government as well.
Well, it seems like, I mean, again, I've not been following the stories coming out of New Zealand all that much, but it seems like there was going to be like a mandatory buyback program, and it looked like they did kind of like a California-style law, which means like limited the capacity for magazines, and it looks like they actually were just banning all semi-automatic rifles, like you can only have pump action, lever action, bolt action. Is that true? Or in revolvers?
Like we've always been able to have pretty much anything we need, but like we definitely haven't had an issue with like all of the attacks that have always been made have always been with like golf clubs and hammers and axes and like real brutal weapons. We never really use guns.
Huh. So in other words,
I mean,
guns
we've got guns,
yeah,
but that's only the
right.
That's
Guns,
only the
guns have never been a
purpose.
problem. Guns have never been a problem. In other words, when people commit crimes of violence, it primarily wasn't with a firearm. It was primarily with just a knife or like a bat or something else.
Yeah, right.
Huh.
The person who actually they've found has done this is actually from Australia, and he actually had a GPS, so he didn't even know where he really was. And then the media tried to say that he actually had been to the gun club and he'd been there for months, which is not true. He's from Australia and he's only just came in to like basically shit in our backyard.
Yeah, it's like, how come he's just going to do that like in Australia? I guess he had to go to New Zealand to buy some guns? I mean, did he get the guns when he was in New Zealand? Where did he get the firearms from?
Well, it's funny because they were the same guns that the police defenders showed up with.
They were the
They
same.
were all the same guns.
They're the same guns the police use.
Exactly, dude.
No, but I mean, did he buy the firearms in New Zealand, or did he bring them with him from
No,
Australia?
but see, they had all this writing on it to make him seem like he's super crazy. Like the rifle had all this white sort of twink writing on it.
No, but what I'm
and
saying,
it wasn't funny, but I mean, like, it was just really bizarre to see the level of like crazy they sort of went.
No, but I'm saying, do they establish where he got the firearms from? Did he bring them from Australia, or did he purchase them in New Zealand?
No, they're basically trying to say that he had actually had the guns for months and months and had them apart with the gun club and license and all this shit, which it clearly was untrue, judging by the actual evidence that we've seen.
So do they have any idea where he actually got the guns then? If he didn't get them from the gun club and didn't have them stored at the gun club and stuff, is there any speculation as to?
Well, we can only assume that it was some sort of psyop thing, where like they just, as with any sort of Secret Service operation, they can certainly find suppliers. You know what I mean? Like finding a gun is just like finding a big bag of drugs. It's fucking possible anywhere in the world with the internet.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's not. If you want to get a gun, it's not going to be hard for you to get one.
Oh, you can get it all in pieces and everything. Like it doesn't matter. But like, people are just starting to realize this. People don't even realize this. That's the thing. They think that the fact that they can take the guns away would stop everything, but actually it would just sort of start taking the power away from the people that are already powerless.
Looks like, do you know some people in my chat right now? You guys all come on at the same time?
I don't know.
Shamey, O'Donnell, VX, do you know those guys?
Well, I'm currently live, so they probably know where I am now.
Okay. But these are guys that don't.
Basically, just a nutty, and like the dude who just commented in my chat right now, he's right. Like he's just a nutty fucking Islam hater, and like he just took it to a way further level, and that just shows you what the media can do with hate.
Yeah, well, we have the same problems over here. We have a media that they love causing it's good for the ratings too. I mean, they love causing people to hate each other. They try to divide us all the time over here. I mean, that's their big thing. And, you know, the more divided we are, the more the ratings go up, the more money they make. So that's how they work it over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you ought to check out that
Well, hell yeah, bro. It's good to see you got some more viewers and shit. Like, I'll definitely smash the like button there for you, dude.
Oh, totally appreciate it. But yeah, check out check out vmix.com. They give you a free 60-day trial, and it's very easy to work.
I need to get some cash, bro. Do you know who can sponsor me?
Who can what?
Do you know anyone that's a brand that's willing to give me like $50,000?
No, sorry, man. If I knew anybody willing to give over 50,000, I'd be talking to them myself.
What about like 40?
Ah, there you go. You sound like you sound like an American. You sound like an American.
New Zealand dollars. No, even New Zealand dollars. 40K New Zealand dollars. Who sponsors you? How did you get your hat?
I bought it.
Can you like turn your camera? Can you turn your camera around like a full 360?
No, I don't have that ability on this. It's a webcam. It's hooked up to top of a laptop.
Oh, are you able to show us like your house, like to see what kind of person you like live?
No, I'm not. Why would I do that? This isn't like some kind of reality TV show. You know, I mean, it sounds like
I'm in a reality TV show.
Yeah, no, it sounds like you're doing some kind of like a live streaming, like in a house, and kind of showing people that are there and your experiences and stuff, and that's cool for you. But no, this is a news and politics show, so you know, like yeah.
Can you get like an egg?
And that was the great Sean, and Sean had to hang up there all of a sudden. I'm not sure why, but he did. But anyway, that was a great Sean calling in from New Zealand, and always great to you know, have a call like that. And yeah, I already did that, yeah, Amy. Yeah, I already got it. You know, I thought he was gonna ask me to start posing naked next. You know, I guess those guys from New Zealand, they kind of a little bit different or something. You know, I don't know. Maybe the prisoners that they sent to Australia that escaped from Australia went to New Zealand, and that's the people who inhabit the country now. You know, I don't know. You know, that, you know, we probably need to look into the history of New Zealand. So, yeah, no, I already got him off. Don't worry about that. I already got him. But anyway, well, you know, it's Friday night, and we are going to get some trolls and stuff. But that's just what happens. You know, that's okay. It's a live call-in show. I mean, you know, you never know what's going to happen on Carl's Opinion. It changes every day. But anyway, so let me see. We were covering the last story we were covering here was a Joe Biden story. Let me see. I was getting ready to jump over to something else real quick. Let me just take a look here. Let's see. Washington Times. But the phone number is 775-273-8970. All right. So let's see. Yeah, no, we already got him off. So yeah, douchebag, we already got him off. Don't worry about it. All right, let me just jump to I was back here on the Washington Times real quick. Let's see. Oh yeah, I brought this story up earlier, but I didn't cover it. So let me. This is really cool story. Let me get to this. Like, you know, we've been hearing for you know, for months, you know, from senators and congressmen, you know, right on the you know, from the Hill at the committee hearings that the border crisis is manufactured. It's a fake crisis, you know, that kind of stuff. And, you know, this is all in Trump's imagination. There is no crisis at the border. We have politicians going down to the border and actually saying, look, I'm here and I don't see a crisis. And look, I don't see anybody trying to get over this wall. And the governor of California went out there, he went near the border, and he says, oh, it looks fine here. I don't see anybody crashing down the highway. I don't see anything wrong. And who was it? That idiot from CNN, Jim Acosta, he was down there. I don't see anybody rushing this fence. Well, you know, the border's like 2,000 miles long. I guess where he was standing with his camera crew, I guess if you were like in the bushes, you weren't thinking like, oh, here's a good time to cross. Now my face is on camera, and I got the reporter here looking at me. So anyway, let's take a look at this story here. Okay. All right. Boom. Okay, Obama, this is really a cool story. Obama DHS Secretary says border crisis is real. I cannot begin to imagine 4,000 apprehensions per day. This is Jay Johnson. He was in charge of the Homeland Security under President Obama. And so again, everybody's been saying, "Oh, this crisis is imaginary. It's manufactured. It's bullshit. They're just doing this just because they don't like, people of color. They don't like Hispanics and whatever." But anyway, here's Jay Johnson, and let's read what he has to say. So let's bring it on down. This is written by Douglas Ernst of the Washington Times. Okay, former DHS Secretary Jay Johnson is breathing a sigh of relief that his time overseeing border security issues is long gone. President Trump and current DHS Chief, Department of Homeland Security Chief Christian Nielsen, received some emotional support on Friday for the stress involved with securing the U.S. border with Mexico. Mr. Johnson rejected the idea that Republicans are manufacturing a crisis when it comes to apprehensions of illegal immigrants. Again, he was on Morning Joe. Morning Joe, is a big never-Trumper. Mika Brzezinski is a big never-Trumper. They hate the guy. But anyway, they had this guy on, and this guy said probably something they didn't want to hear. So Mr. Johnson went on to say on Morning Joe, this is what he actually says: "When I was in my office at Kirsten Nielsen's job at her desk, I'd get to work about 6:30 in the morning, and there'd be my intelligence book sitting on my desk," Mr. Johnson told MSNBC's Morning Joe crew on Friday. The PDP, the intelligence briefing, and also the apprehension numbers from the day before. And I'd look at them every morning, and my staff will tell you if it was under 1,000 apprehensions the day before, that was a relatively good number. And if it was above 1,000, that was a relatively bad number, and I was going to be in a bad mood the whole day. His staff probably don't go near this guy. Mr. Johnson then pivoted to what he now sees as a giant conundrum. On Tuesday, he says, there were 4,000 apprehensions. I know that 1,000 overwhelms the system. In other words, he knows the system. He knows what the system can handle. And if it hits 1,000, it's overwhelming the system. People got to get released. They can't handle it, whatever the deal is. So he goes on to say, and then he says, I cannot begin to imagine what 4,000 a day looks like. So we are truly in a crisis. Again, this is President Obama's former head of Department of Homeland Security, who's saying the crisis is real, it's not imaginary, and it has not been manufactured. The Obama, let's see. We should ban these trolls. Okay. Let's see. Okay, the Obama-era officials' comments come in conjunction with Mr. Trump's threat to close the U.S. border with Mexico to trade if Mexican officials assert some semblance of control over the flow of people. If they don't assert some kind of control. So what he's saying is, hey, look, Mexico, you're giving these people these visas, these vacation visas, these humanitarian visas, whatever the hell we want to call them. So just giving these visas for them to have just enough time to get through your country to come to our country and bother us and cause us problems. Yeah, they cause you little problems, but, you make sure that you don't let them stay in your country. You send them to our country. So this is what Trump says. We'll keep it closed for a long time. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Keep it closed for a long time. Keep it closed for long enough for all those fruits and vegetables on those trucks to go bad. And then all those farmers down there who can't make any money off their fruits and vegetables, and those truck drivers who aren't going to get paid, okay, when they start bitching to their government, okay, to the president of Mexico, people with the money, these are big ranchers. These people have money, okay, and they have power. When they start bitching to the president of Mexico and say, hey, whatever your freaking problem is, fix it. Trump wants these people to stop coming through our country. Fix that, because I really don't care about these people from Honduras or El Salvador or Nicaragua or Guatemala. I care about my business, my employees, my my family. Then things will change. But you got to put pressure on the people with the money in that country. And the way to do that is to, stop those trucks at the border. The people who own, Ford Motor Company's down there. Ford Motor Company has a lot of say in what goes on in Mexico. They put a lot of money in there. The automotive industry. There you go. Automotive industry has a lot of power in Mexico. They put a lot of money into that country. And if they turn around to the president of Mexico, hey, look, man, just fix this freaking mess coming through your country. We can't ship our cars out of here. Every day they sit down here, we're losing money. Okay? And so anyway, Trump goes on to say, I'm not playing games. Mexico has to stop it. I totally agree. Anyway, that was the end of the story. But there he is. That's a pretty cool story. So, he's advertising the movie Unplanned. What she saw changed everything. In theaters everywhere March 29th. Unplanned. Oh, it's today. Well, I'll be damned. Unplanned the movie. Unplanned.com. Well, probably something we should check out. But okay, let's take a look here. Okay. Boom. There I am again. All right, let's see. What else do I want to cover here? Well, here's a legal story, and it has to do with Jussie Smollett. I really haven't been covering the Jussie Smollett story, but I do like the legal angle of this story here. So let me pull this up here. Boom. Abnormal. This is what the Illinois Prosecutors Bar condemns Fox for highly unusual handling of Smollett case. This is rather interesting. So, this is again written by, excuse me, Valerie Richardson of the Washington Times. Cook County State's Attorney Kim Fox insists her office went by the book. Excuse me a second, hold on. Cook County State's Attorney Kim Fox insists her office went by the book in dropping all charges Tuesday against Empire co-star Jussie Smollett, but other Illinois prosecutors could not disagree more. Lou Rappas, who is president of the Illinois Prosecutors Bar Association, which represents nearly 1,000 prosecuting attorneys, condemned her office's actions in throwing out the 16 felony charges as abnormal, highly unusual, and an affront to the public, police, and prosecutors. Through the repeated misleading and deceptive statements to the public on Illinois law and circumstances surrounding the Smollett dismissal, the state's attorney has failed in her most fundamental ethical obligations to the public, said Mr. Rupas in a Thursday statement. The IPBA condemns these actions. In addition, Mr. Rupas DuPage County Assistant State's Attorney, said the manner in which this case was dismissed was abnormal and unfamiliar to those who practice law in criminal courthouses across the state. In other words, like, we've never seen this before. And he's going to explain why. In interviews Wednesday, Ms. Fox said the process of dropping the charges as part of its alternative prosecution program was not a new or unusual practice, arguing the approach had been used 5,700 previous cases and was available to everyone in similar situations. Not so, said Mr. Rupas, who called it highly unusual, not a statutory diversion program, and not in accordance with well-accepted practices of states' attorney-initiated diversionary programs. Wait, hold on, let me get some water real quick. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Okay. Not so, said Mr. Rupas, who called it highly unusual, not a statutory diversion program, and not in accordance with well-accepted practices of states' attorney-initiated diversionary programs. He's going to explain why here right now. Prosecutors, defense attorneys, and judges alike do not recognize the arrangement. In other words, nobody in that state says this is how it works. The arrangement Mrs. Smollett received, he said. Even more problematic, the state's attorney and her representatives have fundamentally misled the public on the law and circumstances surrounding the dismissal. In other words, they're lying. You know, he can't say that. He's a fellow attorney in the state, a fellow prosecutor, but she's lied about how this diversionary program works. Now, generally, what they're talking about is like, this whole restorative justice system, this whole alternative prosecution, alternative sentencing kind of program, where they say, okay, there have been people who have been discriminated against for decades and been treated unfairly by the criminal justice system. So instead of locking them up, we're going to give them an alternative sentence, an alternative prosecution. But what it requires even somebody who's going to get a diversion program in a drug case, like a possession case or under the influence case, you at least have to admit guilt. You have to plead guilty to something. You know, like in my state, like if you want to go on the diversion program, you're a first-time drug offender. It's a possession case. It's an under the influence case. Simple possession, simple under the influence. And you never had a drug conviction before. First time. Okay, you go on the diversion program, which means as follows. You go into court. You plead guilty to the charge of under the influence of drugs or possession of drugs, you know, of a Schedule 1, 2, 3, 4 controlled substance without a valid prescription. But you plead guilty. Now, what they do is they say, okay, tell you what. You plead guilty now, and you're on probation, and you'll have a probation officer, and you'll be tested randomly. Sometimes they include drug court with this, or some kind of inpatient program, because even though you're on diversion, they'll include those in there. Like, they're not just going to say, well, you're a drug addict, here, go have a nice day. No, because they don't want you to fail, because everybody knows you're going to end up violating the terms of your probation, to wit, you're going to use drugs, you know, and you're going to test positive at some test. So a lot of times they'll include like a drug court program where they have to get counseling, and they have to get a job, they have to get their high school diploma, they have to have a driver's license, they have to learn how to be responsible members of the community. They get like NA meetings and, you know, all kinds of stuff like that. Group counseling, everything. So they say, okay, now here's the deal. So you plead guilty, and you go into this diversion program, and you get counseling or assistance or whatever. But if after 3 years, if you've not violated probation, if you haven't, you know, if you've been testing negative, you've been doing really, I mean, everybody slips up once in a while. It's not like you test positive once you're gone. But, you know, for the most part, for 3 years, you've done a good job. You know, you've been a good member of society. Then after 3 years, they let you withdraw your guilty plea, and basically, you were never adjudicated a felon at the time. When you pled guilty to the charge, nobody gave you a judgment of conviction and said, now you're a felon. So 3 years later, everything goes good. Guess what? You weren't a felon. You never will be a felon, and the case goes away. But you have to jump through some hoops. One, you got to admit guilt, okay? And two, you're now on probation, and you got to, like, you know, be drug tested, and, you know, you got to maybe go to a drug court program or something. Now, that's for drug cases. Now, what they're doing, like in Cook County, in Chicago, and other juries, like Philadelphia is doing this. These are all Soros-backed prosecutors that got elected recently. What they're doing there is saying, okay, look, this is how it normally supposed to work. When I read, you plead guilty, like, say, I don't know, theft. You stole something, okay? And maybe it's a felony. So it's above, you know, $950. I think Illinois is $950 is the cutoff for a felony, or $650, whatever it is. So whatever it is, it's a felony. So they say, okay, look, forget the drug cases. We're going to do this for everything. And they do some pretty serious stuff. So they say you come into court, you plead guilty to one of the charges. You know, you committed the crime. You say, yeah, I did it. Okay. Then same thing. We put you on a diversion program. And then after so many years, if everything goes smooth and you're not committing any new crimes, you're staying out of trouble, if drugs were part of the problem you were having, you have to, you know, obviously, well, you always have to, you're on probation, you have to test negative for all drugs, including marijuana, because, you know, no alcohol, no marijuana, no nothing. And you got to be a good citizen, okay? And then after 3 years, they say, okay, you're not a felon, it never happened, withdraw your plea, have a nice day, goodbye. But in this case, what she did, he didn't have to plead guilty to anything. I mean, basically, first of all, this really wasn't a diversion program. Okay, that's what. So when their prosecutors saying, "Look, you're saying this is a diversion program, an alternative sentencing, an alternative prosecution, but you didn't make him do anything." I mean, he had to give up $10,000 that he posted for bond. Okay, but that's nothing compared to what it cost. And he had to do community service, which he had, quote unquote, already done. He wasn't sentenced to do community service. He did his community service, did 2 days with Jesse Jackson's nonprofit company. And they say, okay, with the community service, 2 days of stuffing envelopes, and you gave up $10,000, you don't have to even plead guilty. And you're not on probation. You're free to go. And then the state's attorney did one step more. They sealed all the records without notice of hearing, without public comment, without anything. There was no reason to seal the record. I mean, obviously this wasn't a plea deal. He wasn't pleading to anything. It was just, they just wanted to dump the case because, well, you know, Kim Fox is a black woman. Jesse is a black guy. They know Michelle Obama and other people, and he's gay. And, well, he has this two-time privilege, and so he gets to walk. Whereas, if any of us had put the city of Chicago through what Jesse Smollett put the city of Chicago through with the Chicago PD, trust me, we would not be walking. Well, in fact, you run into these guys at night, it may not be a good idea. I mean, they would be really upset. So, I mean, we'd be going to jail or be spending a shitload of money on attorney's fees. This guy gets to walk. He doesn't have to plead guilty. And so, anyway, they go on to say, let me finish the story here without my edit. Carl got to get going. Great live stream tonight. Look forward. Oh, okay. Hey, man. Let's see. Let's try to fix the caps here. Boom. There you go. Well, hopefully you're still on. Hopefully you got that message there. But anyway, thank you, Mr. Douchebag, and thanks for the people you're bringing over and everything, and even the trolls you brought over. I'm assuming they came from you, the trolls. I'm assuming they followed you here. They're always following the great douchebag. But Amy, I see you're still there, and I don't know who else we have. If anybody's still on here, but we'll see. But anyway, I'm going to finish. Let me finish this story up real quick. All right, so. Prosecutors, defense attorneys, and judges alike do not recognize the arrangement Mr. Smollett received, he said. In other words, nobody's seen this before. Even more problematic, the state's attorney and the representatives have fundamentally misled the public on the law and circumstances surrounding the dismissal. A day earlier, the National District Attorneys Association criticized Ms. Fox and her office on several fronts, arguing for one that Mr. Smollett should have been required to issue an acknowledgement of culpability. Yeah, basically like plead guilty to something. A case with the consequential effects of Mr. Smollett should not be resolved without a finding of guilt or innocence, said the National District Attorneys Association in a Wednesday statement. The association also faulted her because basically he gets to say he didn't do it. So he walks around and gets to still say, oh, I'm innocent, I didn't commit a crime. So there's no consequences for his action, which means there was no specific deterrence. And more importantly, there's no general deterrence. Other people, when you sentence somebody after they've been convicted of a crime, there's the two main theories are you're looking at special deterrence, there is specific deterrence, specifically deterring this person from doing it again. But also, more importantly, you look at general deterrence. You want to deter people in the community from thinking like, oh, I can do this crime and get away with it. So you want to show them, no, if you do this crime, you're going to have to pay a price, and so don't do this crime. Okay, well, here there was neither occurred. Let's see. So the association also faulted her for her intervention with the Chicago police on behalf of a Smollett family member who reached out through former First Lady Michelle Obama's one-time aide, Tina Chen, as revealed in February 1st emails and texts obtained by the Chicago Sun-Times. Prosecutors should not take advice from politically connected friends of the accused, said the NDAA. Yeah, I mean, you don't do that. Each case should be approached with the goal of justice for victims while protecting the rights of the defendant. Ms. Fox has said that she reached out to Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson, asking him to turn the case over to the FBI, and then she says, when Mr. Smollett was still viewed as a victim of a hate crime and not a suspect. Mr. Smollett was accused of perpetrating a hoax after reporting that on freezing night, blah, blah, blah. The Illinois Prosecutors Group also took issue with the Cook County prosecutor's decision to seal the court record at Tuesday's hearing. The sealing of a court case immediately following a hearing where there was no reasonable notice or opportunity for the public to attend is a matter of grave public concern and undermines the very foundation of our public court system, said Mr. Rupas. Another bone of contention lies with Ms. Fox's recusal. This part I did not know. Amy, hold on when you hear this. Remember how we all told she recused herself? Check this out. She has said she recused herself and turned the case over to her top assistant to avoid the appearance of impropriety. But her office said Thursday she only, quote-unquote, informally separated herself from the decision-making over the case. She didn't actually really recuse herself. She just said, in fact, I don't think she even said it. I thought they put out a statement she was recusing herself, but I guess we didn't read the fine print that says, no, she wasn't really recusing herself. What she was just doing was informally separating herself from the decision making over the case. Well, this guy works for her, the assistant. So I mean, she had her fingerprints all over this. And then they go on to say, this is. I'm sorry, I've been the criminal justice, working in the criminal justice system for 25 years. I've never heard this before. Although this is the staff from Kim Foxx's office. Although we use the term recuse as it relates to State's Attorney Foxx's involvement in this matter, it was a colloquial use of the term rather than in its legal sense, said the office in a statement to media outlets. These are lawyers. These are prosecutors. They say recuse. That's like, I mean, when lawyers are putting statements out, public statements, we're talking as lawyers. We're not talking as we're talking down at Joe's Bar and Grill. So now she's saying, we just meant it in a colloquial way. We didn't tell you that. And we thought, everybody out there would hear it the way we wanted you to hear it. But what we really meant, it wasn't the legal sense of recusal. It was just really just a colloquial term. Like, first of all, there is no such thing. First of all, I've never used recuse in a sentence that didn't have anything to do with the law. Okay, it wasn't. I've never said, "Gee, I'm going to recuse myself from going to the store." I've never heard a lawyer use. I mean, it's bad enough we speak with legalese at times, but I've never heard a lawyer use the word recuse except when they're talking about a judge or a prosecutor or something recusing themselves from a case. We just don't go around talking shit like that. We don't go, I'm going to recuse myself from watching TV tonight. No, there's no colloquial term. There's no common use term. Yeah, I agree. Dirty as fuck. Totally. Yep. Totally agree. Okay, Ms. Rupas said that under Illinois law, her entire office should have been recused and a special prosecutor appointed to take over the case. Yes. Here, the state's attorney kept the case within her office and thus never actually recused herself as a matter of law, he said. Well, it turns out she didn't actually recuse herself as a matter of fact. President Trump tweeted Wednesday that the FBI and Justice Department would review the handling of the case 2 weeks after the Fraternal Order of Police Chicago Lodge 7 called for a federal investigation and appointment of a special prosecutor. This is a textbook example of how a prosecutor should not handle a case. Former federal prosecutor John Sale told Fox News, adding, here, there is a perception that the rich and powerful get special treatment. Oh, totally agree. I mean, no, I use that. No, Amy, you're fine. I use that word all the time. Let's see. Yeah, no shit. But, okay, let's see here. Well, that's pretty much about all the stories I was going to be covering today. And so, yeah, we've been on a little over 3 hours. And actually had a really good chat tonight. And, Amy, when are you going to, hold on. Let's see, let me write here to Amy real quick. Hold on. Let's see. I agree with Carl's opinion. You're good. Yeah, it'd be good if I get you to do a live video call. That was really cool with Lee. I was really glad how that worked out. Like I said, just got trying to bring the phone call in with the great douchebag. There was a lapse in the timing with the audio and video. That I don't think I could. I probably would have a hard time working that out because they're coming through from two different sources, and if I have to adjust the the delay on the phone versus the video, that might be too hard. Now I was getting some echo in my headset. There was some delay there. That is probably an easy fix. I just have to fix it. So, but that I think I can take care of. So I don't think I'll have a problem with that. So other than that, but yeah, I'm pretty much gonna. Here, let me just get back on the site here. Well, but yeah, I think I'm gonna call it a night tonight. Just want to thank everybody who's been in the chat. Let's see. Let me get different. Let's see here. Boop. Yay. Boop. But I do want to thank everybody who's been in the chat tonight. I want to thank everybody who's called in tonight. Thank the person I called, the guy supposedly from New Zealand. But, so then I still got myself on here. Let's see. Yep, sure do. Boop. There we go. But yeah, I just want to thank everybody who's been on tonight. And for all the people who will be viewing later, and if you like the video, please hit the like button. If you like it a lot, please hit the subscribe button. So, need to get my notes together. Oh, yeah, well. But, yeah. Maybe next time. But yeah, maybe next time. And that, like I said, that worked out really good with Lee. That was really good. I think it makes it more interesting for the viewers also when you can actually see the person, and when they're talking to him and stuff like that. I think that's pretty cool. So, but anyway, thanks for everybody joining. And tomorrow's Saturday, so yeah, I'll be doing a live stream Saturday. I don't know what time. Again, I'll put it up and I'll post it on the community. The community board off my site, and I think that goes to the subs and everything like that. So anyway, guys, just want to say have a great night, and I will see you next time on Carl's Opinion. Anyway, take care. Bye-bye.